Jeff Gordon, at 23, he just keeps winning. 5 in 95, 7 in all. Now he's won 2 in a row, Daytona and Loudon. His magical season has placed him in some impressive company. It was 85 when Million Dollar Bill made his breakthrough into the upper echelons of racing with 11 wins. 1987, Dale Earnhardt became more than a 2-time Winston Cup champion. In 87, he became the Intimidator. 1993 was the year Rusty Wallace won 10 events and placed himself firmly in the sports elite. Is 1995 the big breakthrough for Gordon? Last time at Pocono, Pennsylvania, it was full of lessons, hard lessons here, as he was defeated in the final moments. Can Gordon win his 3rd in a row? Find out next. And a good day, America. Welcome to the 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway. Time to go Winston Cup racing with the Miller Genuine Draft 500. The prime issue today here on TBS. A great race for you. Hello, Ken Squire, topside, getting ready for 200 laps of competition. You can talk about the young phenomena, but if youth is to be served, they've got some running to do. 3 Fords up in front, Elliott, Martin, Shepard, the top 3, and the Stock Car Racing's magazine's editor, and our colleague up here today, Dick Berger, and the question is this really a phenomenon that's going on with Jeff Gordon?
It's more than a phenomenon. It is a phenomenal phenomenon. Jeff Gordon comes into today's race looking for his 3rd win in a row. Now, other drivers have walked this same path, and in each case, it's been a case of a wonderful driver working with an outstanding crew chief who had powerful engines and excellent chassis. It has always been a combination, and that's what Gordon has.
Chad Little is joining us from the Grand National ranks of NASCAR. Delighted to have you up here today. Now, what about the pressure on a young 23-year-old guy like Gordon out here?
And pressure it is. Imagine being 23 years old and being pulled in all different directions. I mean, here's Gordon, won 5 races already this year, but today he's got to be focused in the car to try to win number 6.
We're just about set for that command that will turn them loose here today. Here is Governor Tom Ridge of Pennsylvania to fire them up.
Gentlemen, start your engines!
The most competitive stock car racing in the world is ready to get rolling one more time. Race number 17 of the 1995 season coming to you on TBS today. And we'll be back with the starting lineup for all of this shortly. Let's go quickly down to pit road before we go anywhere else. Trackside for some headlines. Here's Randy Pemberton.
Thanks, Ken. Really, the second half of the Winston Cup season has just recently gotten underway. Now, that's where the teams start to shine because the Winston Cup Tour hits most tracks 2 times. And if they learn anything the first time around, they need to start applying it now. That's because Jeff Gordon and his guys, they hit it the first time around. Now let's go to my colleague working alongside me on pit road today, Steve Burns. Steve?
Randy, race fans have been saying, hey, where's Bill Elliott? Where's he gone? Folks, here he is on the pole today. His first pole with his brand new race team. His first pole in 42 races since Darlington in the spring. His last win, Darlington in the Southern 500. He's won here 4 times, trying to make it 5. Let's go to Johnny Benson, the Busch Grand National points leader.
Yeah, I'm standing next here to the Family Channel 4, driven by Ted Musgrave. He's our surprise guest or winner today, hopefully, and I think he's going to pull it off. You know, he started 17th last week and finished 8th. He starts 7th today. I think he can go off for his first win.
Now, those are just some of the sub-stories to today's race. Get ready. It's hot fun in the summertime here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Back with that lineup after these messages.
2.5-mile tri-oval. I'm Rick Benjamin live at the STP Pit Communication Center along pit road here today. A lot of stories we'll be sharing with you, but first we want to give you our AutoZone race analysis for today's competition. We're on a 2.5-mile speedway here. We'll go 200 laps, 500 miles, 41 cars in the field, $1,082,000 in the purse today. Huge purse here. Pole sitter last year and the winner of this race, Jeff Bodine. Bill Elliott a little slower, actually, 1.5 miles slower this year. The most wins at Pocono, 4 by 3 different drivers. Ken Squire, how they line up today?
Well, here's the Haviland starting grid for today's race. The front row will have Bill Elliott there, a 4-time winner at Pocono, and Mark Martin. In row 2, it's Morgan Shepherd and Ken Schrader. For row 3, the 87 and 93 champion Dale Earnhardt and Sterling Marlin. In row 4, it's Ted Musgrave and Bobby Hamilton with the #1 Pontiac in the field. Row 5 is Joe Nemechek and Rick Mast. Row 6, Jeff Gordon and Darrell Waltrip, a 3-time winner here. Row 7 is Ricky Rudd and Ward Burton. Row 8, Dale Jarrett and Brett Bodine. In row 9, it's Kyle Petty and Hut Strickland. For row 10, there's Derek Cope and Jimmy Hensley. Going into row 11, you have Michael Waltrip and Rusty Wallace ready to do business. In row 12, Jeff Burton and Terry Labonte. For row 13 today, there's Dick Trickle and Steve Grissom. In row 14, Jeff Bodine and Robert Presley. Row 15 is Lake Speed and Rich Bickle. Row 16, Jimmy Spencer and Bobby Labonte. Row 17, Bobby Hillen Jr. and Kenny Wallace. Row 18, Mike Wallace, who's won 2 ARCA races this week, and John Andretti. Row 19, Dave Marcus and Jeremy Mayfield. Back in row 20, rookie Ricky Craven and Todd Bodine. And starting 41st in row 21, Elton Sawyer. The latter 3, all provisional starters. Randy Pemberton down on pit road with Ted Musgrave.
Wow, just got done talking about them, and it looks like they're going to take the left valve cover off. The crew is under the hood. The engine definitely sounded flat. They have now shut it down. Ted sits here. The crew looking frantic. They fired him back up. It still sounds flat to me. They've just fired it up, so could possibly be a long day. They've lowered the hood. They're going to try and go out there and ride it out. They may look further into it under the next caution. One other note, a problem on the 33 car of Robert Presley. Just barely got the car fired up. They've had to push it back to the garage area. Apparently a broken stud, which holds the gooseneck on from the radiator to the engine, has broken. And so now there's trouble there as well. Unbelievable. Steve Burns?
Randy, here's something everyone at home can relate to. Really, the problem is the radiator is leaking. They changed radiators this morning, and it's leaking. They can't get it started.
So Musgrave in trouble, as well as Robert Presley early. Let's take a look at the Chevy course description on this 2.5-mile track. It's a toughie, this particular facility. 162-mile-an-hour average in qualifying. That long front straightaway, Chad, where you really carry some speed.
One of the longest ones in the whole NASCAR circuit, actually.
Then that high bank turn 1 area.
That's where most of the drivers will downshift into what would be 3rd gear there, and then follow that turn around to another long straightaway leading into the tunnel turn, which is one of the trickiest turns in all of NASCAR.
And then that flat turn that brings them back to the line as the field is coming by us now. Take a look at our in-car cameras for just a moment here. You're riding with Jeff Bodine. Inside car has 3 cameras on board, starting in the 27th. And Bill Elliott will be carrying a camera for us today, right up on the point. Great to see Bill back. A year ago, he was on the pole. What about a picture here from Rusty Wallace's number 2, starting in 22nd position. And what a story about his starting spot we'll get to in a moment or two. Further back, now this is a guy that's got to win sooner rather than later, Ken Schrader. Although all those rumors about him maybe leaving that Hendrick team, they've been thrown away. He's there through 96 at least. So you're riding back with the Xerox car as they get ready to go here. And that is Mark Martin, who starts in the outside of the front row. Again, Ford's top 3. Last time we saw Ford's up there, Darlington, a year ago. As we get ready to scramble them for 500 miles, 200 laps this afternoon. Dick Berggren, how are we coming down there with Musgrave? He's got his problems remedied. Is he just going to ride this one for a while and see what happens?
The interesting thing there, Kenny, is that that's a 2-car team. Jack Roush fields 2 automobiles, one for Musgrave and the other for Mark Martin. And all year long, they have not had a DNF, a failure to finish in any race. And today, they appear to have a failure to start properly.
Ranked 4th in points, Musgrave having a problem early here before we get this race officially underway.
I hope it's not because Johnny Benson gave a plug for Musgrave before the race started. Johnny, if that's the case, then don't ever give me a plug before our races start.
We've got the 2 top drivers in Grand National with us today. John Benson out of Grand Rapids, Michigan, and from over in the Northwest, Chad Little. No fighting between you 2 on an off day. All right, field getting set for a go. Stay with us this afternoon for flag-to-flag coverage of this Miller Genuine Draft 500 as Bill Elliott leads them down his 47th career pole. 4-time winner here at Pocono brings them to the line. And it's great to see that Elliott team back in Dawsonville, Georgia, leading the field under green. To the stripe. And Elliott breaks out in front immediately. Hurdling into turn number 1, stacking them 4 wide.
The starts at Pocono are amazing. It's so wide, the cars can go 5 or 6 wide as they enter turn 1 there.
But they can't go through turn 1 5 or 6 wide.
They're not listening to you there. It's hairy going through turn 1 too wide, especially when you get to the tunnel turn. That's the one you really don't want to be going side by side over if you're racing somebody for position. The guy on the outside's got to give way.
Here's Earnhardt getting that move on the inside with Marlin, with Nemechek. They have Schrader pinned on the outside as they go over that 8-degree tunnel turn, turn 2, head into that short chute, and then down into that long flat corner.
Robert Presley is still on pit road. They have not yet gotten the engine fired on his car, and he is about to go a lap down.
Presley tied for rookie honors with Ricky Craven. It's going to hurt him badly. Back they come. And that is the first lap as they come to the strike that Bill Elliott has led all year. Last race in which he led Phoenix last October. Martin stays right there, and those 3 Fords trying to draw away from the Chevrolet of Earnhardt in 4th, followed by Schrader. And down below the line they go in turn 1. Take a look at Gordon on the move here. Jeff Gordon trying to get that number 24 on Limbert and come along through, and Rudd trying to get beneath him there.
What you'll see happening here is the cars will get a run on another one because of the drafting that goes on there, and then they got to make a decision is to get that run going on the car in front of him. You see Gordon getting a run on Nemechek there. Does he stick his nose underneath? Does the guy in front see me? If he does, if they make contact, then there's going to be a spin. So you got to make a decision there as a driver.
That's for 7th place. The 87 and the 24 at it.
And it'll be interesting to watch Jeff Gordon today because after the last practice session yesterday afternoon, they totally changed that car around. They changed the rear sway bar. They changed one of the rear shocks. They changed as well the engine, the transmission, the gear, and the brakes in it. This with no practice.
This is what they need. What we need to know is what they didn't change.
The driver. They left the driver alone, and the crew chief is still there.
That's always a question, too, in the race starts when they make that many changes. Is it going to be better or is it going to be worse?
Here's Earnhardt in 4th place. Ken Schrader running in 5th. Those Chevys pulling. Here's Jeff Gordon scooting down to the inside. Makes the move on Nemechek. That's for 6th spot. Here comes Ricky Rudd into it. He's the Tide car down to the inside. And Bobby Hamilton in the number 43 Petty car. He's making a good showing here in these first laps.
Pocono is one of these racetracks where you really don't want to be tight. If your car is tight coming off the turns, in other words, you have to turn the steering wheel more than you want to. The car wants to push straight. You're going to have a long day because you can kind of see, I think Joe Nemechek's kind of fighting a tight condition right now, and the cars are able to get underneath him coming off the corner. They're able to keep more RPMs in their motor.
Working lap number 3 on board with Ken Schrader. He goes chasing after Earnhardt. Schrader in 4th, Earnhardt in 3rd. Up in front, Elliott Martin. Take a look at this battle. Here's Michael Waltrip still looking for that first win under Rick Mast. Pulls right up under the 26 as they fight further back in the field.
Michael's best finish ever came here at Pocono, 2nd spot back in 1988, a long time ago. But he runs this racetrack extremely well. He's got a good feel for the corners. He knows just what to do to get around them well.
You know, again, Pocono will be one of the places that has a tendency to be tight. If your car, what you want to do is you loosen your car up all week long trying to get it to handle right. So then you have what's called a loose race car as you enter the race, which would be perfect. You get a guy behind you, it's going to loosen you up, and that's really how the pass is made.
Bud Strickland back there in 13th a moment ago. Now you're on board with Mark Martin as they continue their war, those front-running positions. Elliott, Martin, Shepard brought those Fords to the front for the start, and they continue to stay there at the present time.
One of the things we're going to be watching for today is the condition of the first turn. Yesterday it was very, very hot here, and some of the racetracks started to break up. They have worked on it overnight. They think they have the problem corrected, but boy, doesn't that add an extra challenge when the racetrack changes during the running of the event.
Get a pit report from Randy Pemberton.
Just to clarify, Ted Musgrave, what happened was they had plug wires crossed on the left-hand side, 2 cylinders crossed. They did get it fixed. He had to start at the rear of the field. He's coming through the pack.
One to watch. Schrader coming to the inside on Earnhardt down that long 4,000-foot straightaway.
And look at Gordon coming, too, right in between the two of them, watching to see which way to run.
4th, 5th, and 6th right there.
He took a look at Earnhardt, but then changed his mind there.
Working lap 6. Sterling Marlin just behind them in 7th. Steve Burns can give us a little additional information here.
Guys, I spoke to Andy Petrie just before the race and asked him about that turn 1 situation. He said he went down and inspected it with NASCAR inspector Elmo Langley. He said it is not a good situation. He said you'll probably see marbles later on, and Chad Little can tell you what marbles mean on the racetrack.
Well, if the track's breaking up a little bit, it's going to be real slippery if you get out of the groove. I'm not exactly sure where it's breaking up. Maybe we can get a shot of that, but if it is coming apart, you'll want to keep your race car away from that part of the racetrack.
Now, one of the good things about today, part of the good news is that the temperature has dropped dramatically from those 105-degree readings of a day ago, and that works in favor of this racetrack. It was turning this asphalt to glue. So Elliott, Martin, Shepard up in front. And then a little further back, you have this battle.
Jeff Gordon got a really good run off of turn number 1 there and got underneath Earnhardt as they go through the tunnel turn.
For 5th position.
Wonder Boy and the Intimidator. You're going to see a lot more of this, I think, in the years to come.
Like I said, the guy on the outside really doesn't have the option, the luxury there, but Earnhardt just made me a liar and drove right around Earnhardt going around over the tunnel turn.
And the one that named him the Wonder Boy is the guy in the black number 3, the Intimidator. He'll get you on the track and off the psyche any way he can. Here's Earnhardt holding on to that position after he rode the outside and comes looking for Schrader another time. Rudd is in 8th, Nemechek 9th, Dale Jarrett 10th, Hut Strickland 11th, and DW, Darrell Waltrip, up in 12th position, who had qualified well for today's race. Take a look at Rusty Wallace trying to come up from that 22nd starting position today after the first day of qualifying was discounted. He didn't get a shot at that. Had a little trouble with those flaps up on the top of that car. And they set him down from the first day of qualifying and fined Robin Pemberton some $20,000 on that.
And Robin's deal kind of is a tough one because he didn't even know that those flaps were on it. What they had done at the Penske operation was to rebuild the flaps. Now, the Jack Roush organization is supposed to build all the flaps for all the cars, and everybody's car is supposed to be about the same. And apparently the Penske team decided that they were going to try to improve on those flaps. They added some titanium, took away between a pound and a pound and a half, depending on who you talk to in the garage area. NASCAR found it and said, don't mess with the roof flaps. I want to make it very clear here that everybody I talked to this morning at least said that there was no safety issue here at all, that they didn't do anything to disqualify the use of the flaps. What they were just trying to do is to come up with a stronger flap that was at the same time lighter.
Take a look at this battle a little further up as we continue to scramble for the 5th position. Gordon and Earnhardt in a real war. This is lap number 9 that they're working at the present time, and Gordon has the advantage.
Again, Gordon got a great run coming off of turn number 1 and got underneath Earnhardt, and this time was able to keep the position over the tunnel turn.
Earnhardt hangs tough, stays right with him. But all of a sudden, there is a serious new challenger to Earnhardt in this 95 campaign. And for the first time this year, Jeff Gordon leads in the Winston Cup standings. Now take a look at this. The 6th and 21. This is for second spot. Mark Martin and Shepard at it. Shepard making a very good run, and note that Schrader has pulled up nicely. Schrader in 4th, number 25. So we're now working the 10th lap of the 200 to be run today. The leader is for Weeks, and the interval between Bill Elliott looks like the mid-80s again, with Elliott trucking up front. Coming after him, Mark Martin in that second position. You can see the interval back to the 3rd place man, and that's now Ken Schrader, putting a Chevy in there and mixing it up with those Fords. We've completed 11, working the 12th lap at the present time of 200.
Schrader and Gordon have both gotten around the 21 car of Morgan Shepard, and it looks like Dale Earnhardt's also fallen back a little bit. I see that, that he's now fallen back into 6th.
Here's Elliott. Took the pole at a little over 162. The record here is a 164 mark from a year ago. He did it. Has that advantage. There's Martin right in that second spot. Schrader coming on. And you see Jeff Gordon also. So you got 2 Fords up in front. Here's Martin looking up at the leader. A couple of Chevys right behind. Earnhardt, meanwhile, is closing down on Sterling Marlin for 6th position. He's about 2 car lengths behind him. Watching Mark Martin work out here in the corner.
I love the way he hangs onto that steering wheel. He always drives that way with the right hand tucked down low when he goes in the corner. Then he'll shift it more to the right side of the wheel and get a 10-2 position. He's the only driver I ever saw who could race that way, and he always does it.
Well, you know, Mark Martin being one of the best in the industry, I tried that a couple times, figuring maybe there's something there. If Mark can do it, I can do it. It's hard to do. I'm real uncomfortable in letting go of the steering wheel and coming over like that, but Mark has he's mastered that, and he's real comfortable at it.
I think it was you, Ken, that called that the Arkansas handle.
Yeah. Darrell Waltrip has dropped from 12th back to 39th. And Steve can give us a little more as to why as we watch this battle for first place. It's a dandy. Steve, fill us in on Darrell Waltrip.
Ken, I'm in his pits. He has radioed in to crew chief Pete Peterson that the car is extremely loose at the very worst, and he may have an even worse problem. He may have a tire going flat, and that's why he's gone backwards.
Meanwhile, the number 33 of Robert Presley has come underway, and it is running 10 laps behind. But Presley is back on the track in that number 33. Change of leadership, and you have Mark Martin now in front, and Elliott holding on to him as they draft down into that tunnel turn. Closing is Schrader.
Interesting combination. Mark Martin has never won here. He's finished second. Whoa, boy, do you see that? Elliott and Mark Martin got together there a little bit. Both cars bobbled. The drivers collected it very, very well.
Let's watch from Schrader's viewpoint of this contest between the 2 Fords for the lead. Down into the main straightaway they come to complete 15 laps.
That contact back over the tunnel turn between Elliott and Mark Martin, that's really not that big a deal. You know, Elliott just had a good run coming off the tunnel turn. It was going straight there. Didn't really get Mark Martin out of shape, and that's kind of give and take a little bit there. But this isn't right there. This is serious racing as they go into turn 1.
3 wide into turn 1. And again, it's Elliott commanding. Schrader to second. Schrader runs well here. Back in June when they came to Pocono, he had a 3rd place finish. And he sure looks like he has Papa Joe Hendricks, number 25, geared right for today.
These guys are not holding back at all. I mean, we're in the early stages of the race here, and you see these 4 guys just going at it like the caution or the yellow, white flags coming up the next lap.
Schrader's another who has never won here. He's been fast. He has 5 career poles here, but has never won a race. Finished 3rd, however, in the race that was held here in June of this year.
And back in '88, he had a runner-up spot when Elliott came home. So he knows his way around this place. Here he is making a run going into turn 1. This is the corner that's shaped a bit like Michigan. That 2nd turn a little more like Pocono. And the 3rd, take your choice. Phoenix, Milwaukee, wherever you want to go, it is flat.
And look at this. Gordon's going to follow through. Those are team cars. Schrader and Gordon.
You know, the 25 car is very hungry for his first win in a long time, and I'd love to see it happen here today.
Yeah, a long time indeed since he has tasted victory. This could be the time. Hasn't won in Winston Cup since Dover, Delaware, 124 races ago. 1991 at Dover. Well, here's Gordon clambering up. Remember, he started in 11th position. And he is making his weight felt at the present time.
It shows how fast things can happen here. A lap ago, you had Mark Martin challenging for the lead, and now he's sitting back in 4th place. He might have just decided to wait for a while there. Those guys being maybe a little too aggressive when he wants to be right now. He knows he has a good car, and he just wants to wait.
Terry Labonte won here in June when Jeff Gordon came down on a restart with just a few laps to go and missed a shift. So, Jeff, you missed a shift, and you missed a victory at this track back in June. How do you feel about that now?
You know, since we were last here at Pocono, I mean, heck, I thought the season had taken a big turn when we were ready to win a race, and I missed a shift, and man, it just seemed like it was downhill from there. And actually, since then, that's helped us out tremendously. We've you know, finished 2nd at Michigan and won a pole and won 2 races since then. So you know, if anything, that missed shift here at Pocono has helped us out a bunch. He also said he was so embarrassed about that he wanted to come back and rerun the race the next day.
Anyway.
But you know, the neat thing about that team is when something goes wrong, there is no finger pointing. Everybody just pats everybody else on the back, and they say, don't worry about it, everything will be just fine. And the crew felt that they had let Gordon down in the Daytona 500. Jeff said, don't worry about it, guys. We'll come on back the next week. And that's a lot of what it takes. They all believe in each other.
Well, as they work the 19th lap, 47.5 miles into this thing when they come down by, here's Gordon trying to put the squeeze on Bill Elliott. They go double wide down toward the tunnel turn.
Bill will probably back off a little bit and let Gordon go on through as he did, which is the wiser thing to do over the tunnel turn there.
Better than bumping, and I've been thinking about what you said a couple of minutes ago. No big deal, bumping at 150 miles an hour. Okay for you to say, Chad.
Well, it's a lot depends on where you bump and so on. They were going pretty straight at the time. You don't want to hit somebody as they're entering the turn, and that's going to break them loose and more likely spin them out, especially at a fast racetrack like Pocono.
Great pictures from Mark Martin's view as he brings that Valvoline Ford into the main straightaway, and he closes in, ready to make a run. As Elliott, in his sights, looks down to the inside and lifts. Love to watch Mark Martin race. So determined. I mean, he gives you every ounce he has every single lap, every foot of the way.
Yeah, he's definitely Mr. Intensity.
Take a look further back. Here's Derek Cope scooting to the inside on Michael Waltrip. Here's Rusty Wallace pinned on the outside and Ward Burton just in front. That's for 10th spot, folks.
Just saw Rusty hit his shift lifter there, changed gears going into the corner.
Rusty in 11th. Trying to close some ground. Morgan Shepherd has fallen from 5th. Well, actually from 3rd at the start. But in the last 4 laps, he's gone back to 14th position. In the Wood Brothers, number 21. I'll tell you, there's a big day coming. Oh, down to the inside. Here's moved by the 24 car. Getting under that Robert Presley machine. Lap car, 10 laps down. Understand that Glenn Wood's going to be 70 years old. You can imagine the years that he's put into racing. They're going to start a museum up there. Caution is on the track. First time. It comes as they have completed 20 laps. Caution is out for debris on the track. Not sure where, but it's out.
NASCAR sees it. We know that.
Doyle Ford has the flag in hand, and so we have our first caution of the day as we complete 20 laps. They're 50 miles through. Watching Schrader's number 25 leading the way at the moment with Jeff Gordon now to second. The Chevys have come up to first and second. The Fords of Bill Elliott and Mark Martin 3rd and 4th, then Earnhardt in 5th. Dale Jarrett has come to 6th in the number 28 Robert Yates car coming up. So before 62,000 in those seats, and looks like another 62,000 plus in the infield. There's over 200 acres of infield here. Got yourself quite a crowd, and for a moment they get a chance to sit back for a second. Nice day for a race. Temperatures just about perfect, not anywhere near the high temperatures of yesterday or the day before, or for that matter the last couple of weeks. How about that?
Now it'll be time for the drivers to relax a little bit, get a drink of water, and the pit crew to go to work. This is where they earn their pay.
Now they should go, what, about 34 laps today as we watch Schrader?
Yeah, that's what I figured talking to some of the crew chiefs this morning, is that you'll see 36, 37 laps as a maximum. But I believe that they'll all be coming in right now. Check their tire wear, get a good temperature on the tires, and go back out.
Ward Burton may have the record. Last year he went 41 laps in a single tank of fuel, but it was out by the time he crossed the line.
Pace truck has the field in hand as they get them woed for debris on the track. Our first caution of the day. Chevrolets came into this race 1, 2, 3. Rather, Fords came in 1, 2, 3. Now Chevrolets are running first and second. And curiously, Earnhardt has not selected the first pit stall for today's race. Anybody got any idea as to why? He usually likes to be right down there in the end, or he can scoot out.
That's Neverland down there. There's so far out from everything else that's going on. If you have a problem there, it's so far to get back into the garage area.
Randy Pemberton is down there in Jeff Gordon's pit. Let's go with him now. We'll give you a few of these pit stops as they come in under caution.
Well, as you said, Ken, this is the first time the crew goes to work. Actually, the coolest day we've had since these teams have gotten here on Friday. Track temperature right now about 116. At least that's the surface temperature in the pits. They're calling for 4 tires, only 1 can of fuel on the DuPont Chevy. Gordon has radioed in. He said, I'm pushing a little going into the corners and a little loose coming off, but no major changes. They're already around to the left side of DuPont Chevy. Down and away, an excellent stop.
There's Schrader out just as quickly. And here comes number 6, Mark Martin, not to be outdone.
There's a 5 o'clock traffic jam.
Yes, sir. A little after 1:30 in the afternoon Eastern here on TBS. It's the Miller 500 from Pocono, Pennsylvania. Out of the pits a couple of times. Let's go to the pits for more information from Steve Burns.
Ken, major changes on the 17 car. They came in twice on pit road. They took a spring rubber out of the right rear and also adjusted the track bar. Bill Elliott also, although he's right at the front, also having some handling problems. They took a round out of the right rear as well. Said the right rear tire was wearing badly. Hey, let's go to Randy Pemberton.
Well, Hut Strickland has been in after several good runs in a row. His luck is starting to sour. They changed, or at least the engine started to sour as well. They've changed the spark plug wires. Then they changed the spark plugs, found out that indeed they have lost the cylinder, possibly a broken rocker arm on Strickland. So he probably will not win today. Another guy that has had some problems, Kyle Petty, broke the bolt out of the hinge that lies right in front of the windshield on the left-hand side. So his hood was rattling. They've tie wrapped it a few times. Kyle is down and away. So a myriad of things happening on pit road so far this afternoon.
Dave Marcus was on the lead here for 3 laps and just pitted as they were under caution. First time he'd led since back in the Daytona 500. This is what, his 20 or 21st appearance in this race, 33rd overall on the Pocono 2.5 mile. A look at the overall in the field. We can give you some times on pit stops as well. We saw the 24 car Gordon at 17.7. 18.1 was the number 6 car when it was there, Mark Martin, and a 17.3 was recorded by Schrader's outfit. Good stop.
Bill Elliott had a little bit of problems in the pits. He went from 4th to 11th. He'll be restarting in 11th now.
And we're ready to restart. And here is Bill Elliott. Looking like he is ready to go. Mr. Hardy's car. The team back up there in Georgia. And they really had themselves a qualifying run. They made some changes on that team again.
Well, Ernie Elliott told me this morning that they have made some management changes in the organization, and he thinks it's going to be for the better in the long term, and said everyone's getting along better now and getting back to the basics, as he says.
25 laps when they come by this time, and we'll be under green here in the Miller Genuine Draft 500 from Pocono, Pennsylvania. Field out of that flat 4th turn. Get ready for the Gordy show at Pocono. And we'll see. As they come down, Martin first, Schrader second, Gordy third. And then you have Dale Jarrett 4th as you're on board with Schrader. 5th is the Sterling Marlin car. 6 Earnhardt, 7th Rudd, 8 Nemechek, 9 Wallace, 10 Koch, 11 Elliott, and 12 is Michael Waltrip as Martin leads him down.
They're probably restarting here in 2nd gear, so they're going to have to come up through 3rd and 4th and then go back down into 3rd gear into turn 1 here. So there's a lot of shifting as they go into turn 1 here at Pocono.
A lot of them will never make it to 4th gear by the time they get to turn 1 on a restart. In fact, it takes so long to wind these engines up on a restart situation, but for sure when they're under racing conditions, they will change gears to go down this long straightaway. It is the longest straightaway in all of Winston Cup racing, and then they'll change gears again when they get into the first corner to get a better bite, get through that corner with better RPM. The old days, what they used to do is they used to just breathe the engines going down the straightaway. They would gear the car in such a way that about 3/4 of the way down the straightaway, the drivers would just lift a little bit off the throttle. And one day Alan Kulwicki said, I don't like lifting, and he changed the transmission around, and now everybody's doing what Alan Kulwicki did.
He changed a lot of things in stock car racing.
What they have now is they run an overdrive in 4th gear, where their 3rd gear is a 1-to-1 ratio, and then 4th gear is actually a 0.92 or a 0.94, and that enables them to run a little bit more RPM.
Oh, how about this move? Schrader sticks his nose down to the bottom and goes for the lead. And right with him comes Dale Jarrett. You're listening to the radio of Schrader up in front. Here comes Jarrett.
Really a pretty good motor.
I'll say it's really a pretty good motor.
Schrader commenting on the fact that he has a pretty good motor.
That was the man himself, Ken Schrader, saying he thought he had a pretty good motor today.
Ken Schrader's always been one of those drivers that's real calm in the car, and he'll talk and joke with you, and he's always keeps a real straight head about him.
Good run for Jarrett early in the going as we watch, and fading back a bit is the number 6 of Mark Martin. see Wallace in the number 2, making that move on the inside. He's back there in 9th. About to go to 8th. Derek Cope has been on the move. He's been climbing up through traffic.
Rusty decided Derek was going to get the inside groove there. A lot of give and take, as we say as drivers. You saw Derek look to the inside. Rusty pulled low and said, I don't think so, Derek. I'm not going to do that to you yet.
The Amoco in-car from Bill Elliott, further back in the field than he might want to be at this point. On the other hand, we're not anywhere near halfway. Battle for second. Here's Gordon down to the inside. And the Robert Yates car with Dale Jarrett at the controls. Stays high, and we have Gordon coming up for second. Here's Sterling Marlin in there. Randy?
Well, I'll tell you what, I have something on Dale Jarrett. I was talking with crew chief Larry McReynolds the other day. They said their problem is cured. I said, what is it, Larry? They've had so many problems over the last few weeks. He said Robert Yates found peanuts in the Lance Cracker machine at work. He went up there with the forklift, tried to get them out, couldn't reach it. They went up there, poured all that money in, grabbed all those peanuts, and threw them out of there. I talked to Robert today. I said, where'd you put them? He said, you might find them over at Hendrick's shop.
Well, whatever it takes, that's what we say.
Ricky Rudd on the high side, and here's Bill Elliott grinding out another position as he fights his way back toward the front.
Of course, you knew that racing peanuts is supposed to be bad luck, just like a green car or getting into the car on the wrong side and all the rest of it.
Nemechek loose up there on the outside.
Boy, that is some tight racing going through the tunnel turn there again. The reason we always refer to the tunnel turn is it is a real difficult turn. It's very narrow, it's very fast, and a little bit of banking, so you got your hands full going through there. That's why you usually don't see cars side by side there.
All of this for 7th position. Nemechek was in 7th. He's fallen back some. Almost got collected on that second turn, the tunnel turn. How fast over that second turn?
You're in the neighborhood of 150 miles an hour as you go over the tunnel turn there, and it's actually kind of a blind turn as you enter it. You can't see what's on the other side until you get to about the middle of it.
And for the lead, it's Gordon in the 24, back in front again. Can he win 3 in a row? Well, that's the issue today, or one of them, in this Miller 500. 23-year-old Jeff Gordon sticks the 24 back in front of the Hendrick cars. Papa Joe's runs in first. Kendrick's number 25 right there in second.
And now the only race he has not led all year long was Sears Point. Every other race Jeff Gordon has led, and that is domination.
It's a very strong team. Jeff's doing a good job behind the wheel.
Pulling away by 2 and 3 car lengths. Take another look at that battle back in 7th position that we've been watching. Talk about the bump and run. This is a moment ago, the last lap. Uncle Waltrip down there, Derek Cope in the 12 in the middle of that sandwich.
You're just kind of holding on there and hoping that nobody slips, because if there is a slip, it's going to be a wreck. That's for sure. You can see the rumple strip that right now Derek Cope in the 12 car is running over. It's real bumpy right there. The car doesn't grip real good when you get down that low. So that's some good hard racing right there.
Here you see the deuce and the 3 still at it pretty good, and that's for 5th position. Wallace into 5th. Earnhardt challenging.
Wallace has not had the year this year he enjoyed last year when he won 8 events. Sure helped him with a great run today, wouldn't it?
Let's put a clock on this and see what some of these lap times are right now. We're at Pocono, Pennsylvania, 30 laps into the 200.
Into the Poconos, the Richard Petty exit, and was a real thrill for me to have the opportunity to meet the King. A lot of speculation about him wanting to possibly be governor.
Sure.
I told him, why would you want to be governor when you can be king?
There's the sign for exit 43. You made that presentation earlier this morning.
Yeah, well, we were real proud of the Pocono International Raceway. Richard Petty had come to Pennsylvania on several previous occasions on his own time, just because he's a good citizen. North Carolina claims him, but he's been helping folks out in 50 states around the country. We thought it was a nice and appropriate way to honor him.
Well, we appreciate you stopping by. It's certainly a great honor for the King, and pleasure to be here in the Poconos.
I want you to know this is the premier, one of the premier sporting events in the Commonwealth of Pennsylvania. We're delighted to have you here. Look forward to seeing you next year.
Thanks. We appreciate you stopping by as we watch Jeff Gordon and Ken Schrader go at it, Ken Squire.
Indeed. Battle for the lead as they come around for the 35th lap. They'll have covered 87.5 miles, only 1 caution to date. That was for debris if you're just joining us, and you're on board with Ken Schrader as he comes into the main straightaway. Wraps out some real speed. How fast when you get it all the way down to the mat on this main straightaway.
Oh, they're approaching 200 miles an hour at the end of the main straightaway here as they go down into turn 1. Hard break. Look at that right there. I mean, that's exactly what you're up against. That's good racing right there.
And at 200 miles per hour, it is Schrader to the inside, passing teammate Gordon. And taking over in first spot, Dale Jarrett still stays third. Rusty Wallace fourth. Marlin is fifth. Bill Elliott sixth. Earnhardt seventh.
Rick Hendrick, who owns both of those cars, is in the pit area today. And I'm going to tell you what, when he sees a deal like this, he just doesn't even want to watch. He is one nervous camper watching several of his cars going at it for the lead.
I think that Rick Hendricks is probably the most nervous in a situation like that because I don't think Schrader or Gordon are even thinking about it one little bit.
Look at Wallace just blow into third spot. Steve Burns can add something to this story on Rusty Wallace today.
Ken, Dick Berggren mentioned the roof flap incident from qualifying day. Rusty Wallace started 22nd. As you see, he's now third. He is driving his favorite race car. That's Midnight. He has an incredible record in that car. 26 top fives and 13 victories.
Yeah, that car has done some winning, done some great racing here. Seen it many, many times, and it is one of the favorite machines. He's one of the few that names his cars. He debuted this car back in Richmond, way back in 1992. They keep adding new sheet metal to it, and we saw this car at Dover, Delaware in June. That was the last time it was in that big crash. Remember, early in the going, didn't look like it was going anywhere. Came back to finish ninth that day.
They don't name him until they win, though, Ken. And when he won that race at Richmond, they decided to put the name on it at that point, and they've run some of these cars 3, 4, 5, 6 races. No name on it until it wins. It's just PR and then the number in the order in which the car came off the jig at Penske Racing.
09 was the original number on this car that you're riding in right now with Rusty Wallace as he closes down from third spot on the leaders. Rusty, what was all that controversy over the roof flaps about?
Well, this is just a non-approved part, and the reason we got to fine at all is because they're trying to deter these manufacturers from building trick parts and trying to sell them to people. And they want to get a good control. So I understood it. I said, I appreciate your position on it. Appreciate you being kind about it and understanding it. And that was it. It's been around for so long. Robin Pemberton didn't even know it was on a car. He was shocked. I said, I got something I got to tell you here, buddy.
The Miller Genuine Draft In car, you're riding with Rusty Wallace. Interesting thing is how anybody discovered that. Anybody got any ideas?
The roof flap?
Yeah, the roof flap. No, the roof flap that cost $20,000 to Pemberton.
Oh, they're all watching each other in that garage area.
NASCAR inspects those things very closely now. I mean, it's been a real safety factor, those roof flaps. They look at those every race. That's why, as Darrell Waltrip referred to yesterday, there might be a little bit more to that story than we're hearing.
But the other teams watch the other teams, too, and each crew member is watching the other crew members, and they're all looking for something that they can blow the whistle on because they don't want anybody to have any sort of an advantage here. Importantly, the Penske team was very, very involved in the development of the roof flap. It was originally drawn out on a napkin that Don Miller still has in the Penske organization. So they certainly didn't want to do anything that would jeopardize safety, particularly after Rusty went upside down so hard at both Talladega and Daytona.
And that's where that flap started. But the flap about how they got caught on that deal, I think, is in about. It's a matter of who parks beside who in the garage area.
I was going to say,
that NASCAR plan where you can't have a closed garage where it's all open really takes care of business, doesn't it?
I didn't even have to ask Steve Meal this morning, who was with the 6th team. He just came over to me and said, Dick, we don't care what they do. It doesn't matter to us. And he was parked next to the 2 car.
Well, how about that?
Here you see the leaders continuing to duke it out with Ken Schrader, Jeff Gordon first and second, Rusty Wallace third, Dale Jarrett fourth. Hey, folks, we're 38 laps in, and Hutch Strickland is having an unscheduled pit stop and going behind the wall. That's too bad for the Kenny Bernstein team, still struggling. We'll look back here as the number 21 gets, Morgan Shepherd's got a handful of 21. Terry Labonte after him. And there's the 24 on the shoot and scoop. Down to the inside, double wide for just a moment, and Jeff Gordon goes back into first. Schrader stays in second.
Those guys are really running close. They've been going back and forth every other lap.
I think they're having a ball.
Yeah, ball's a relative word right now out there. I mean, there's a lot of work, and they're working at it, as you can see, hustling the cars. But obviously, they both have really good race cars, or they wouldn't be able to trade positions like that every lap.
And they love to race so much, and they're really giving them a show. Take a look at Earnhardt in the middle here with Derek Cope just in front. Cope has made a great run in the 12 up to 8th position. Mark that as 7th now for Cope. Push Earnhardt back to 8th. Marlin in 9th as they circulate around this track in their 41st lap. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Ken, this is unusual. Jeff Gordon radioed into Ray Evernham about 5 laps ago and said that 25 car just blew by us on the front stretch, and Ray said that's okay, just ride in behind him. Jeff then replied and said, I guess I'm getting loose, but now it looks like the car is getting better.
If that's loose, gets it up a little there. Look at Rusty Wallace coming on.
He is coming, isn't he? Look at the strength Rusty Wallace is showing.
Remember, Rusty started 21st, too.
4-second spot, Rusty Wallace. And closing on leader, Jeff Gordon. More from the Miller 500.
Coming out of turn number 1 there, and you can see that Rusty had a good run going into 1, and then here comes Gordon right alongside of him. He had a better run coming out of 1, so you kind of set yourself up for that. Might give up a little bit getting in for more coming out. They usually say coming out's what's important because that leads onto the straightaway of where you're going to accelerate and get your speed.
But the thing that had pushed him up happened just a moment before that. He got himself into the rough stuff on the low side, upset the chassis very badly, and up he went, and went from first right back to third.
So that was lap 42. We're now working on 45 with the leader, Gordon. Wallace back to second, Schrader into third. Those are the top 3. There you see Rusty Wallace, who had this race for a moment, stuck the nose of that car out in front. I don't know if he got an official lap on that one or not, and got himself the 5 points. Had that lead briefly, but here's Jeff Gordon back in command another time.
Jeff Gordon's a very smooth driver.
As I mentioned earlier, Gordon has led 16 of 17 races this year.
Times are beginning to fall off just a little bit. On lap 21, they all took on new tires, and they were running in the low 59s, or low 57s, rather. Right now, they're running in the low 58s, so they've slowed down a full second in the last 23 laps. And that's what happens as the tires begin to wear out. The cars get more difficult to handle, and they slow down as well.
Here's where the big battle is right now. Is back just a couple more spots with Derek Koch and Sterling and Earnhardt there. They're really going after it.
7th spot, Koch, 8, Marlin, and Earnhardt all in there in a bundle. And it is, again, the number 3 of Earnhardt that's challenging, a 2-time winner of this 500. And see Jimmy Spencer in there. He's running well, too. He is charged from well back up to 8th now. He started 31st on the day.
He needs a good run. Spencer has had an absolutely terrible year in 1995. Began by failing to qualify for the Daytona 500, and from there it just does not seem to have gotten any better at all. But a good run here could help get rid of a lot of bad memories this season.
A little tippy in the tail end right there as Earnhardt closes down. Marlin comes with him.
That's an example of how the cars get loose again, because they loosen them up because the track has a tendency to be tight, and you can see there Earnhardt gets right on his bumper or on his back and does loosen them up.
And Marlin comes to the inside to challenge Earnhardt. That for 9th with Spencer just in front of them. There you see Derek Koch, the number 12 car for Bobby Allison, in 7th place. Jimmy Spencer, he is flying. Nemechek getting under Earnhardt. Makes you wonder about the 3 car at this point, Dick Berggren.
Yeah, he got Earnhardt bobbling. It was almost an Earnhardt move done by another driver on Earnhardt. Nemechek got his nose right underneath there, and Earnhardt got a little wobbly, and there it went. Well,
for the lead.
Yep, and then some. Wallace is so strong this afternoon.
Wallace bounces back into first spot by 2 car lengths. This while they're working lap number 47. When they come by, they'll have 117.5 miles in the book. That's the 12th lead change of the day. It puts Gordon back to second, leaves Schrader in third. Some kind of racing. Here's Schrader ready to make a challenge. That 200-mile-an-hour mark on the racetrack, down into turn number 1. Schrader all the way on the bottom.
And Rick Hendricks chewing his fingernails again. Guaranteed.
Looks like Kenny's going to get a run on the long side of him here going down the short chute leading into the tunnel turn. He'll probably end up with the position as they go across the tunnel turn there. And he does.
He's really not had a problem running fast. Kenny Schrader has run fast in many, many races this year. He just hasn't had any luck. It seems as if every time he gets going really well, something goes wrong with the car. At Charlotte, he lost an engine while leading. In fact, he lost it while dominating. At Talladega, he lost an engine while leading. At Atlanta, he crashed while running fourth. At Rockingham, he crashed. So it's not a question of speed. Schrader has had that. just has to have the speed and the finish in the same race.
Wallace continues to pull away right here at the moment, and Schrader holds his own. Look at Bill Elliott, guys, as he comes counter-attacking down to the inside. He had passed Yates. Now he gets under Gordon.
That's a good example of what happens when you get cars running side by side, and two guys behind are running single file. They're able to draft. The draft pulls them up to the two guys. I'm referring to Schrader and Gordon there when they were side by side. That momentum just keeps them going, and there allows Elliott and the 28 car to go right by Gordon.
12 lead changes among 6 drivers. And for sure, Elliott is back on the beam. And for the lead, now Schrader attacking on the inside. Ken Schrader goes back in front. Wallace falls to second. And take a look at this. Here's Sterling Marlin dicing as you've got another Ford Chevy battle. You've got Mark Martin getting by the 24 of Jeff Gordon. That's Mark Martin pulling up and getting a little sideways there for a second. Going back up front another time. You have Schrader still holding on to that lead with Wallace right there in second spot. Wallace's Miller Genuine Draft in-car giving you these great pictures.
Saw the gear change there.
You know, again, that gear change isn't because this is a road course. It's because the straighters are so long, the corners are tight. They need to shift so they have a little bit more RPM as they come up out of the corners.
Is there any other place in Winston Cup racing besides the road courses, Chad, where they change gears at all?
I'm not aware of any other track except for Pocono. I know a lot of the teams tried it in Indianapolis last year, but they found it to be just a little bit faster without the shifting.
Again, Wallace getting ready to move in. Let me correct something. You were talking about Marlin a moment ago. Sterling Marlin is back in the 9th position, running the lead lap. Now here's Wallace down to the inside, putting the press on and going back for first place.
I tell you, that must be about the 15th lead change already today. These guys are just going back and forth, back and forth.
Market is 13 officially. Start-finish line, I think about 30 around the racetrack.
Hey, they're saying there's a lot of grease in 3 now.
Getting a report, we've got the third turn pretty well slicked up. Schrader's Budweiser in-car camera giving you these pictures. Down the short chute or the medium chute to the tunnel turn.
As you see him going down the straightaway there as they enter into the tunnel turn.
Rusty Wallace, winner of the 1991 Miller Genuine Draft 500, has the lead right now with 50 laps completed, 125 miles down in this event, looking good. 375 to go. Unscheduled stop for Dale Earnhardt just leaving pit road. He had been running back in 16th position. This takes him out of the top. This is at lap 53. You can see the damage to the front of the car, left side, and take a look at what happened.
Looks to me like they're going down into turn number 3 here, and he got into the back of the 5 car. A little harder than he probably wanted to. He's on the brakes real hard right there. You can see the front end squatting down. I don't think that's why he pitted, though. I think the car was just, look at the parts falling off right there as he makes the contact. But I think it's about 5 laps probably before the scheduled pit stop. His car wasn't handling right. They decided to come in, maybe take a look at it. They didn't touch the damage at all.
Here's Randy.
Yeah, that's exactly right. They did have a little of that damage. They were a couple of laps from pitting and getting fuel and rubber anyway, so they decided to go ahead and pull it in now. If it's an aerodynamic advantage or a disadvantage, then they're losing a little time on the racetrack. So they wanted to come in a lap early, get it fixed. The 25 car of Kenny Schrader scheduled to pit probably about lap 57 or so they're all going to start coming here in the next 5, 6, 7 laps.
Earnhardt back on the track.
I would think it would be a little bit of an aerodynamic problem, Ken, because this is a kind of track that the speed is important.
Leaders now coming in. Saw Kenny Wallace in here just a moment ago. Now you're seeing Jeff Gordon, first among the leaders to head on to pit road.
Again, we've had reports that the 24 car was getting extremely loose, so he's coming in a little bit early, too.
It's early in the race. You don't want to get down this early.
Randy's there.
Well, so far, a typical 4-tire stop for the Rainbow Warriors. They're going strong on the right-hand side. Looks like a little bit of a problem on the right-hand side. Not as quick as I've seen before. Up pit road, a couple of other cars now starting to pit. Left side tires going on. A couple of cans of gas in. Gordon down and away. 22.9 for Gordon. Not their best, but they wanted to make sure they got everything ready. Schrader coming in just a moment or so.
Jeremy Mayfield has pitted. Kenny Wallace on pit road.
Right now, the leaders are all coming down pit road. Rusty Wallace has pulled in, as has Schrader.
Steve is with Rusty Wallace. Let's go to Steve Burns.
Ken, you're about to watch one of the best pit crews in the business. Todd Parrott, Scott Robinson slams the jack underneath the car. Billy Wilford on the front tires. These guys are poetry in motion. They clean the windshield. Robin Pemberton said they will not make a chassis adjustment. This will be a normal 4-tire stop. Robinson to the left side of the car. The car goes up cleanly. Wilford to the front tires. Clean the windshield. He's down and away. 17.5. Let's go to Randy.
Well, Kenny Schrader is in. Everything going A-OK on the Budweiser pit stop. Left side tires now on. Rights are already completed. Schrader down and away.
That was a very good pit stop by Rusty's team. I tell you, I know that my crew tells me they love it when I come over the radio and say, I don't want a chassis adjustment. That means things are going good, and that just gets everybody excited.
Fired up. Here you see Derek Cope coming back out, giving the Allison car a really good ride this afternoon. Rick Mast has made his pit stop and is back underway. Bill Elliott, who inherited the lead, he is now on pit road with number 94.
Green flag pit stops are so important. You just can't afford to lose any time at all. At 160 miles an hour, 1 second lost in the pits is worth 235 feet on the racetrack, almost the length of the football field. So a second means a lot.
Steve is in Elliott's pit. Let's get down there for a moment.
Ken, so far it's a clean pit stop. They are making a chassis adjustment to the right rear. Lugnuts being tightened on the left rear. They're down and away. Clean pit stop.
Good pit stop. Watching Lake Speed come in, making his pit stop. Steve Grissom in. Jimmy Spencer making his. Ward Burton.
I anticipated some of the cars maybe just changing 2 tires under green here, but so far we haven't seen that. The tire wear must be a little bit more than to get away with that.
This is the same tire that they used here in June, and Earnhardt tried that. He tried changing 2 tires and wound up losing the lead as a result. So these guys know what happened here in June for sure.
Todd Bodine and Ricky Craven pitted. Here's the 28 car that had appropriated first position for a while, and watch Dale Jarrett coming in. Here is the Martin's Higher Oil in-car camera giving us these shots as he pulls number 6 to a halt. Randy?
Well, Mark Martin is in, and Steve Mill and the crew go to work on the Valvoline Ford. I'll tell you, you want to know how specific these guys get in the cockpit when they talk about their chassis changes? Mark Martin says drop each of the rear tires 1 pound of air pressure. They go ahead and add a round of wedge. Left side tire is on. Mark rips the wheels. He's out of here.
Well, the reason they wanted to drop 1 pound of air pressure is the car must have been just a little bit loose. So what he's doing is taking a little bit of spring rate out of the back of the car, and at the same time, you heard him say that he took a round of wedge out, which does the same thing.
Michael Waltrip making his pit stop, and he is back underway. And our leader, unofficially, we have Musgrave into first place, getting 5 points, and he's on the pit road. 77 has just made his pit stop. Bobby Hillen Jr. now taking over in that U.S. Air Jasper car. 58 laps are now complete, and we're getting the 18 car with Bobby Labonte as the new leader. Morgan Shepherd on pit road. Randy's on pit road. Give us a report on Musgrave.
I'll tell you, Musgrave has come through the field. We haven't talked about him in a little while, but he was just about to creep inside the top 10. Right side tires already done as Morgan Shepherd whizzes by his right side door. Left side tires going on the Howard Comstock machine sitting on pit road. They're done. Wow, a great pit stop for Ted Musgrave. I believe it was about 19.8 as Morgan Shepherd is in up pit road. Already done with the right side tires. Now go to the left. The 21 car, of course, these are the guys that made the 4-tire stop famous. They're down and away. Morgan Shepherd not having a good day on the track so far, but a good pit stop.
19.8. Good stop indeed.
Now when it becomes a scoring nightmare.
Now the guy that just took over for a spot is going to give that one up, make his pit stop. Joe Gibbs, number 18, comes in. Bobby Labonte, 2-time winner this season. We'll take a break here in the action. We're getting these green flag pit stops. Come back and re-identify the top of the field in the Miller 500. Duralube platform giving you these shots of the 2.5-mile Pocono International Raceway. Great racetrack, and what an event we are having. Been under green flag conditions for pit stops, and now we have the new leader. Darrell Waltrip inherited first place for a while, picked up 5 points. As DW keeps on the comeback trail after that hard crash in the Winston Select down at Charlotte. Rusty Wallace has the lead for the moment. And we're showing Ken Schrader as the second place car. And by the way, we've talked about Hut Strickland going back behind the wall. Well, Johnny Benson up in Grand Rapids, Michigan, #1 in Grand National Racing, is with us today. And he can tell us more about Hut.
Yeah, Hut Strickland driving the Quaker State Ford had a really good starting spot in 18th and looking forward to a great race. What happened?
John, I ain't really for sure. It, you know, we started to skip there a little bit down the front straightaway there, and I think, you know, we just tried to ride it out there and get a caution, never could, and finally I think the thing broke a rock arm or something. I'm not really for sure what happened, but, you know, the Quaker State Ford, I really felt like we had a good run. It was going to have a good run today, and it just wasn't meant to be.
Yeah, he definitely has been on a good roll this year, and looking forward to seeing him in victory lane yet this year.
It very well could happen. Thanks very much, Johnny Benson, as we get back to racing here. And watch Schrader with a handful of Mark Martin right now.
They are. They've been racing hard the last couple laps again. Everything kind of shook back out the way it was before the green flag started.
2 3/10 seconds from first place. Wallace back to this battle for second position. Whoops. Mark Martin and the Schrader car with the Budweiser in-car camera giving you these shots. They go down that short chute for the tunnel turn.
You can see those cameras right on top of the roof of the car. They're just right behind the windshield.
There's Schrader's roof cam.
What a view, huh?
It's pretty accurate, too. I mean, other than kind of no more tunnel vision right there. But that's about how fast you see the fence post coming by, and, you know, how it's bumpy like that inside the race car, too.
How about the hood shaking and that kind of stuff, Chad?
Can't really see the hood from inside the cockpit of the race car, but it's going up and down. You can feel the vibrations, that's for sure.
How far ahead would you be looking here?
Right now, you'd be looking at the car in front of you and maybe kind of drifting out to the left and seeing what's ahead of you every now and then to make sure nothing happens on the straightaway.
Well, where's Jeff Gordon? Let's take a look here and see where our Jeff Gordon car is. And there you see it. Back there in 5th place. And in between is Dale Jarrett in the 28. Up there in 4th. Gordon going for 3 in a row here today after victories at Daytona and New Hampshire International Speedway. Morgan Shepherd has lost a lap. Had to make 2 green flag pit stops back on lap 58 and was back in here on lap 61. Unfortunate situation for the Wood brothers.
Gordon may be in 5th spot, Ken, but he is an awful long ways back from the leader, Rusty Wallace. You can see in this overhead shot that Rusty is pretty well out there all by himself. And when they went down that backstretch, they had the whole backstretch distance between Rusty and Gordon. We still haven't seen Gordon.
How to find him right about now.
There he is. It's a long ways back. That was a long pit stop that he took under green. And just ate up a lot of time, and that ate up a lot of racetrack.
Well, what'd you say, 200 feet or 160 feet per second?
Oh, I got to go look it up now. 234.66 to be exact, at 160 miles an hour.
Oh, my heart just slide ruled. 9.91 seconds, guys, between Gordon and this guy up in front. We'll get a report now on Rusty Wallace, who we can in just a moment, and bring you up to date on laps. We've completed 65, 162 miles are now, 135 to go. Look a little further back here as Jeff Bodine scoots under number 4, Sterling Marlin. John Nemechek there and Derek Koch. Pretty good struggle going on. Jeff Bodine in the 11th spot. That battle is 11th, 12th, 13th.
It's the same car Bodine had here last year when he won the race. He absolutely dominated, led the most laps. But it's a big difference. The difference between last year and this year. He had Hoosier tires on it then. He was testing almost every weekend for Hoosier, and that definitely helped. Story in this week's USA Today, however, Bodine says, all the problems with my team this year, they are all mine. He was going through a very difficult and unpleasant situation, a divorce situation, and says it has gotten in the way of running well. Best finish in 1995 so far, 7th. His only top 10 this year.
You see him working that steering wheel as he goes down into turn 1. It gives you an idea of what the drivers are going through in each of these turns. It's not just a Sunday drive down the interstate.
The Exide Batteries car dominated here a year ago. Led well over 150 laps.
He's a great racer, and he is going to come back, Ken. And I bet when he comes back, he's going to come back stronger than ever. And he may well do it at a place like this. His career was very much cut at Pocono International Raceway.
Well, he looked great at New Hampshire last week. He was terrific. And he was down the lap, and he got penalized. He still kept coming on. He had the car as fast as anything notice how I almost said truck? The car is fast as anything on the track.
And it was all torn up. You did say truck now. You were at the truck races
I wasn't.
yesterday.
I did not say that. I said car.
You came
that
close,
was yesterday.
What'd you think of the trucks?
Hey, I loved them. Weren't they great?
They were. I had a good time, too.
Yes, we were in Denver yesterday, Chad, and saw the truck race out there. And we'll have it for you in this Auto Week report upcoming. I mean, incredible finish. Anyway, take a look at Bobby Allison's number 12. That's Derek Cope, and there's Bobby Allison. Hey, you know, we were talking earlier about Jeff Gordon leading 16 to 17 races this year. You want to talk about guys that got it done to get the Joe DiMaggio record. That was it right there. Bobby Allison, 39 straight races he led, 1971 and 72, driving for Holman Moody and driving for Junior Johnson. Take a look at this as you see the 28 car moving under the 25. But you talk about DiMaggio and his record of 56 consecutive games of Joltin' Joe hitting the ball, 39 straight races. Robert Allison, those were in his golden days. We get back to that theme we were talking about with Jeff Gordon earlier. Is this going to be his year like Allison had in those early 70s? Stay tuned. 19 lead changes among 9 drivers thus far today. Steve Burns is down there with the crew chief on car 2.
Ken, Robin Pemberton has been at the center of the roof flap controversy. He was fined $20,000 and put on probation until August 20th. But, Robin, you've got this team ready to race today.
Yeah, they're doing a good job. The pit crew's done an excellent job. They knocked out a couple of good stops. We're running pretty good. Kenny and Mark are awful strong. We're only a little over a third of the way through the race, so anything can happen. We're pleased right now.
Thank you.
We'll take a quick break and be back with you. 70 laps complete.
You're Midas.
Back with you at lap 73. Pocono, PA, and what a battle. Mark Martin has just moved around Rusty Wallace. Closing in is Dale Jarrett. Right behind him is Schrader. The top 4 all still locked together. And picture this, only 1 caution for 4 laps. That for debris. Other words, caution free, and they're still stuck together like stamps coming down this back straightaway. Take a look at the number 28, right back in the thick of it. Mark Martin just making the move as we came back from commercial to get around Rusty Wallace and put that Ford of number 6 from Roush Racing back in front of the Penske machine.
Let's put things in perspective a little bit here. What's going on in big-time auto racing is virtually every racetrack that we're going to go back and take a look at this pass for the lead here. Mark Martin just blows by the inside to take it over. To put what's going on here in perspective, virtually every racetrack on the NASCAR circuit has had to add additional grandstands. They are all sold out. Many of these stadiums now hold over 100,000 seats. And as soon as the promoters announce that they're going to pour footings for another grandstand, the tickets are all gone. And a lot of people are saying, well, it's NASCAR hype. They do a great job of promoting the event. I disagree. I think it's racing just like this that's selling this sport to America.
Nobody's going to disagree with that. Not one snitch. I'll tell you, the racing here over in a Ford and Chevrolet, and of course, Chevy for the present time is back there in the standings. But look at this battle as you watch these 2 Fords right up there in front. Now you got 3, excuse me. Jarrett's there. But Ken Schrader, he's been up in front leading today. Jeff Gordon's been up in front leading. And we're going to see a lot more of that before the day is over. Terry Labonte, the winner here in June, he's only about 7 seconds from going a lap down to these guys at the present time. Slow on pit road, that last stop, and that may catch him. You talk about stadiums they keep adding to. I believe there's another 10,000 seats down at Richmond. We're going to be there September 8th, Saturday night. And the Sawyers just keep adding seats, and they can't stay ahead of the demand on that 3/4-mile track. Which may be one, I don't know, you can't call it a short track. What would you call it? Super speedway, short track? I like it as a short track. I think it gives you the best racing in almost any
I'd say it kind of fits in the short track category, too.
Boy, it sure gives you some super speedway thrills.
And that one's under the lights, too. That's going to be a great show right here on TBS.
Caution is out, second time in the day. Caution coming on another time, and I don't see anybody down. I think we may have a debris. We'll wait and see. So coming back to the line, Mark Martin in command, Wallace, and everybody's kind of waiting for word from NASCAR as to where we are on this second caution of the day, which comes at lap 75 when they cross the stripe, 187.5 miles complete. So we'll take this break and then rejoin you for more of the action in the Miller 500 from Pocono, Pennsylvania on TBS.
Live at Pocono, the caution is out and the leaders are on pit road. Mark Martin has changed 4 tires, gets down and away first, and Bill Elliott follows him out of pit road. It's just a mess on pit road right now. Rick?
As the field starts to move back away under caution after that gaggle of leaders having pitted here just about a third of the way home today in the Miller Genuine Draft 500 here at Pocono International Raceway. Rick Benjamin of the STP Pit Communications Center for you today. I want to show you our Fram race recap to this point. You've heard Ken Squire discuss all the lead changes, 19 official lead changes, many more other places around the track. We had 9 different cars out in front, running a little over 144 miles an hour. This is the second caution so far, only 4 laps run under yellow, and only 1 car, the Hut Strickland automobile, out to this point. We have other statistics here, I believe, to show you. Hut Strickland's car, the only one that's behind the garage area wall at this point of our race. Drivers running for a little over $1 million. Here are the drivers who've led laps so far. Bill Elliott led early on, then Mark Martin and Elliott again. Kenny Schrader took over for a good long stretch from 17th to the 22nd lap. Dave Marcus led under caution for a couple of laps. Mark Martin got back out in front, lap 25, led a few laps there. Other leaders today, Schrader back on top, and then Gordon showed up front for the first time. Schrader and Gordon traded it back and forth. Wallace and then Gordon back in front, lap 43 to lap 46. Then it was Wallace and Schrader. Wallace and Dale Jarrett, his first lead in a good long time. Ted Musgrave, who's come back after troubles off the green flag today, and Bobby Labonte, who won here a month ago when Gordon had his shifting problems. Wallace reclaimed the lead at lap 60. Martin took over at 71. That's where we are right now, with the cars coming back out after this round of caution flag pit stops. Gentlemen, it's been a great battle so far. Ken Squire, I don't know what else we could expect here in the second 2/3 of this race.
Well, how about this? A little different racetrack as we understand it. Secondary cars now on pit road, those that are a lap down. The track may be breaking up in turn 3 is the latest report we've received. About a lane and a half up from the low groove. They're saying that the track may be in trouble up there.
Well, apparently that's what our caution was from, is debris in turn 3. It's hard to say see exactly from here what might be breaking up there, but if it's only a groove and a half up from the low part of the racetrack, that's racing groove.
So, here's the situation. NASCAR put out a yellow flag, and they have NASCAR officials looking at turn 3 at the present time. And 37 very, very concerned drivers in that lead lap. You know, this is summertime here and all over America. We're feeling it these days with the temperatures up in the 100s plus. Hey, when you were a kid, what did you like to do? What was your summer fun? Here's Darrell Walters.
Went to the crawdad hole. That's what there was a big old ditch that ran behind the houses there, and that's where we went, and we'd spend the whole day down at the crawdad hole, just kind of jumping in now running the creek. It was more like a creek, whatever you want to call it. Wasn't a real swimming hole or anything, just a place to go play in the mud and get all wet and have a good time. Come home, let your mama whip your butt because you got your shoes all muddy.
Here. Indeed, corner 3 is where they're taking a gander right now. The NASCAR officials up there continuing to look over a lane and a half up from the low groove. And when you think about the pounding that this track has taken, they've had 2 major ARCA races. We'll tell you more about that in the Auto Week report shortly. They've had some sportsman racing here, a lot of stuff, and you can see they've already brought the brush out, and they're trying to clean up some of that third turn. So this is a real issue.
Yeah, you can see, look down there, that's turn 1.
That's a 1?
Yeah, and you can actually see where you see the NASCAR officials down there looking. I mean, their primary concern is safety. You got to remember that. I mean, we want to put on a good show, but we've got to have a safe show. And you can see right there the pavement is actually breaking apart. Pieces are flying up the track. It could cut a tire. They need to ascertain how much is breaking up. Are the pieces sharp? Are they just rolling up? Is it something that the drivers can maybe drive around or drive over? I mean, this is a pretty major deal right now.
So this is down in turn 1. Our initial report for the caution out was in turn 3, but certainly they got the brush down there in 1 at the present time. And Steve Burns can update us more, I believe, on the Earnhardt story. He's been back in the pits again.
Ken, the 3 car just came in, and they changed the left rear shock. They had to change the left rear shock, and yes, he's entering pit road once again. We'll take a look and see what they're going to do. It was a left rear shock. 3 or 4 guys underneath the car. Everybody's scurrying about. Also want to update you, Bill Elliott took 2 tires on that last stop, which is unusual. So the left side of the car on Dale Earnhardt goes back up. They're underneath the left rear again, looking at that shock. They're going to tighten it, make sure everything's okay.
I wonder if Dale was changing the shock because his car was ill handling, or maybe that's the reason it was ill handling. Maybe the shock broke. It's hard to say right now.
He's been taking a drubbing in the point standings of recent. Not only did Jeff Gordon take the lead for the first time by some 40 points, but now 92 points back in third is Earnhardt in his quest for an 8th Winston Cup championship. Gordon up in front, and look at Musgrave in fourth, and he's looking very strong here this afternoon. Remember, he would take the champions pit, Earnhardt. Now he's back in the middle of pit road. Probably still very much his preference. He wants to get closer to get to that garage area. They need things here. It's such a long, long pit road at Pocono. So we're going to take a quick break and be back with you again. Our initial report.
I want to say, but I can tell you for a fact, they are putting a new shock in the right rear. New shock in the right rear. Let's go to Rick Benjamin.
All right, thanks, Steve Burns. As we watch the work going on up under the right rear corner of the Goodwrench Chevrolet there, that is a major stop. That is going to cost Earnhardt a ton of time in the pits and certainly put him behind the 8 ball when we go racing again. Now let's take a look at our Auto Week weekend racing, brought to you by Auto Week, America's only enthusiast weekly. We've got some highlights to show you of the ARCA Supercars here at Pocono, and also the NASCAR Super Trucks in competition. This is the Super Truck event at Colorado National Speedway. Yesterday afternoon, the battle between the 3, the Goodwrench car of Mike Skinner and the 98 of Butch Miller. Final lap, they came off of turn 4 door to door after Miller had led much of the way. Looked like he might lose again, but he didn't. He nipped Skinner at the line by a couple of inches. Miller the winner, Skinner second, Hornaday, Sedgwick, Dave Rezendes, and Jeff Bodine's truck finishing in the top. Now, at Pocono yesterday afternoon, the ARCA cars ran 150 miles. Second super speedway battle in 3 days. Again, it was Mike Wallace in the Duron Paints Klausner Furniture 90 who was your winner. 2 in a row. This time, though, he had his hands full. Tim Steele in the red number 16 led much of the race, too. They battled back and forth almost the entire afternoon. Wallace over Steele, Bob Schacht at barrier. Andy Hillenberg, the series point leader, with a 5th place finish. Call 1-800-232-1522 now and get yourself a subscription to Auto Week. 52 weeks, $19.95. Auto Week has all the inside news of racing, personalities, driving impressions, and more. Call now for Auto Week. The offer ends tomorrow, so do not delay. And I guess we're still in a delay situation on the speedway.
Well, apparently NASCAR has decided that Earnhardt was speeding on pit road, and that's why they put him to the back of the pack, to the longest line. How do they measure speed on pit road? They do it by having a bunch of experts sit up here at the top of the grandstand with stopwatches. There are lines painted out on pit road, and they time them. They time how fast the cars go between a set of lines. And from what I have been told, that is a very accurate way to do it. I don't know, radar guns seem to catch me a lot.
How do you feel about that?
Well, no, obviously, the pit road speed is a safety issue, and they sit up here and they time. They know how many feet it is between the 2 lines painted on pit road, and they're just timing you. If you go faster than what they've calculated it to be, then you get a penalty. It's pretty black and white.
In the background, you hear the spotter and the driver in the 25. That is Schrader as he continues to wend his way through the field. He's up into 4th. Martin, Elliott, Wallace, the top 3. And Schrader closing in again.
There are some ways to fudge that pit road speed, though. Not that I've ever fudged the pit road speed before. But
oh, no.
There's, I've heard other drivers talk about you can actually know where the spotters are or the timers are up in the stands and know which lines they're using and speed in between the lines that they're not using. But I, of course, have never done that. I don't know who would, but I've heard that.
IndyCar racing, they do use radar guns. They've got a whole bunch of people down there doing it, but most of the Winston Cup tracks, there's no safe place that you could go with a bunch of radar guns. So this is the best method, at least until they come up with something better.
Here's Bobby Labonte putting the move on Jeff Gordon for 10th spot. Whoa! Is that Musgrave looking just a bit loose on the inside for a second there?
It sure was, and here comes Spencer again. What a nice run Jimmy Spencer is having today, Ken.
Don't worry, Spencer's not afraid one little bit to stick his nose in there, is he?
No, in fact,
and
I think he enjoys
that.
it. Yeah, I think he enjoys it. He really does.
When a car's working good, though, it's a lot easier to stick your nose in there and feel confident about it than when one isn't handling well. And you can see the run Spencer's having today. His car's running good. He's going to be fighting for the lead here before too long.
You can see the Heilig Myers car down on the inside. That's Mike Wallace, who's won 2 races in 3 days in that ARCA campaign. Now stepping back in, driving the Junie Donlevy car and about to be overlapped by the number 24. He's running a lap down. Whoops. It's like Bodine's car jumped up on him a little. Just barely tagged the 18 of Bobby Labonte.
Jeff Gordon watched all that, too, and you see him duck down. Now he's decided that Bodine is the one that was going to move. He tried to follow him through, but he couldn't. Labonte very wisely blocked that path, holding Gordon back.
A lot of traffic right there. You know, after restarts, it's always I call it the scariest time of a race. You've got so many cars bunched together, and that's a good picture right there of all those cars together fighting for position.
Yeah, after watching you race at Charlotte this May and dodge all those wrecks that seem to happen all around you, I guess. Scary time.
7th spot is that Bodine car. Look at that line being taken by Dale Jarrett in the black number 28 coming at you. And Musgrave right there with him as they scoot down to the bottom in the main straightaway. And you have to pinch it a little in one, and that's where that track is chewed up a little.
This is one of Jarrett's best runs all year, Ken. He's had such tough luck. He got punted last week and crashed last June here at Pocono. He got hit in the back end and taken out, and he got crashed as well at Dover. But what a nice run he's having here today.
Look at Derek Cope pulling down on the inside and making that move. Great shot over the tunnel turn.
Boy, that is a good shot right there, side by side over the tunnel turn. You're not supposed to go too wide, but every now and then, obviously, it's going to happen.
That's where you're not supposed. That's where you can't do it, right?
That's where you can't do it.
That's where you can't do it. Saw 6 of them do it.
And the drivers are now saying that there are so many different camera angles, good angles like that one, that you can't roughhouse anybody anytime on the racetrack. Used to be you'd get off of the back straightaway somewhere and you could bunt somebody, you could root them and get away with it. Now, boy, there's just no safe place.
Now look at that. That's Cope. In front of your picture, left-hand side, in that number 12 car, and he is up to 11.
That's
and
good.
flying.
It's good to see Derek have a good run today. I think NASCAR's decided that with the problem with turn 1 down there isn't the fact of cutting the tire. They've determined that that's not going to happen. It's that the pavement is coming apart. As the pavement rolls up on the track, they've got to come out and sweep that off every now and then. But the track is determined to be safer. That's why we went green.
We've seen that happen before. You're watching Sterling Marlin in that back for the lead again. And look at Rusty Wallace, second place, as the number 2 of Rusty Wallace sneaks through on the inside of Bill Elliott. That's for second. Leader is still Mark Martin. 19th place is what you were looking at a moment ago. Number 4, Marlin was there. And the 20th spot was Michael Waltrip.
See Rusty put his hand out the window there, Ken, as he's going down that long straightaway. It's still pretty hot, even though we're getting a little cloud cover.
What did they say the track temperature was? We talked about the outside temperature a little bit today, as being really reasonable back into the 80s here in Pennsylvania, as opposed to 105 a day ago. But track temperature is still a stickler.
Yeah, it feels good, too. It sounds kind of just a little thing like putting your hand out the window, but getting that fresh air blowing directly on your hand, it really feels good sometimes.
Looking back at Bill Elliott now, he is running in the 3rd spot. I'm going to tell you what, if Bill Elliott were to win this thing, I hope Doc Mattioli has every bit of wood bolted down, because if not, the fans are going to take this place home. They're going to be so happy to see him win.
There will be. That's a great shot coming out the back of Rusty's car there. You can get an idea of not only how stable these race cars are. It looks so simple in that shot because you're not seeing them fight that steering wheel. It looks kind of stable, and it is. The cars don't slide around that much, but you are steering them.
Almost to halfway here at Pocono. I wanted to ask Chad Little a question about the changing temperatures. Chad, I walked outside of our communication center a minute ago. I'll bet it's 20 degrees cooler even than the start of the race with this cloud cover. What will that do to a race car, and why haven't we seen more drivers seem to have handling problems?
Well, I think generally when it gets a little cooler outside, the cars will tighten up just a little bit. But, you know, the temperature's changing outside doesn't make a lot of difference at a track like Pocono. You see some places like Charlotte where it makes all the difference in the world. But it's still hot out. It's still very muggy, and that's why you see guys like Rusty putting their hand out the window. Remember, we talked about the start of the show, this track tends to be tight, so the guys set their cars up as loose as they can to get them to turn coming off of these corners. That's why you see a guy like Darrell complaining that as soon as the race started, my car's too loose, it's too loose.
Martin and Wallace running 1 and 2. As to track temperatures, we can get a little more from Randy Pemberton.
It has dropped significantly, at least standing here in the pits. I've got the thermometer on the pit road here. It's down to 110. Early on, we had it as high as 125. Now, we started this race. The sun was blistering down on us, and it has blistered all during this weekend's practice sessions. That could be why some of these guys have missed the chassis. Now, it's hard to say. Maybe the track hasn't changed that much, but the temperature here on pit road has gone down significantly. 15, 18, 20 degrees.
You notice that as a driver, too. The changes outside. It's still hot, muggy, but you do notice when it gets cool like that.
Rick?
Want to remind everybody, too, yesterday, we've talked about how hot it was here at Pocono. These guys went out for last practice when the air temperature was 106 degrees, and the track temperature was in the 130 range. So I'm really surprised more people haven't missed on the setup today, since that was the last chance they had to work on these race cars.
Rusty Wallace with that Miller Genuine Draft car. Ooh, 25, blowing up.
Oh, that's too bad. He had such a good run going today, too.
Every time he gets going good, something bad happens to Kenny Schrader. I tell you, the guy's just got no luck at all.
Star-crossed.
Yep.
You see him pulling low there to get out of the way of the other cars, just in case he's putting anything down on the track.
With Rick Hendricks since '88, Rick says he'll be here in '96 and into the future. There was a lot of media hype about the fact that Schrader might be on his way out. At Budweiser in-car camera giving you these shots of Ken Schrader as he eases that machine in. But Mr. Hendrick himself took an opportunity here to talk to the press and say, no way, Schrader stays with us. Back for the lead. Here's Martin and Wallace still at it. Hammer and tong at lap number 92. They haven't given up on this one. One whit, 230 miles complete.
You know, it's interesting that we don't see the Fords having the handling problems at some of the other racetracks they've seen so far this year. You see Martin and Rusty there.
Is that because they've got a little more blade, a little more spoiler on these things?
I don't think that can hurt at all. Obviously, NASCAR's gave them a little bit more spoiler, but I think it also has to do with the fact that the corner speeds here aren't nearly as fast as they are, say, some of the high-banked ovals that we race on.
The other interesting thing is, as Schrader goes down pit road and out of this event, that neither of his teammates has lost an engine in 1995, and Schrader has had nothing but engine troubles. They all are designed the same, basically all built the same. The number 5 of Labonte and the number 24 of Gordon and Schrader, but Schrader is the one that's having the problems.
So in the lead lap, you can see that Bobby Labonte took a hard lick in the Interstate Joe Gibbs car. Brought it down off the wall, rolled it across the line, and now is trying to get back around this 2.5-mile track. So caution coming out at lap 95. That is the third caution of the day as we watch the Bobby Labonte car coming onto pit road.
Fortunately, this is not the same car he won those 2 races with in 1995. This is another car because, boy, this thing looks torn up, Ken. Oh, hard left turn.
Right back to the garage area, and end of the day for 2-time winner in '95, Bobby Labonte. Johnny Benson can give us more on the tire story here today. John?
Yeah, the tire wear looks really good, as you can see here, but with the track coming up there in turn 1, it seems to be adding a lot to the tires. We got big pieces coming out and hitting cars, and this is really hard. And I think what's happening is the tire gets extremely slick and very much out of balance, and this could be causing some of the problems.
Well, we're waiting for the leaders to hit pit road. Mark Martin now coming down pit road, ready to hit his stop as Steve Meal and the crew go to work on the cars. We documented Ford's unusually running up front here today. We talked about that at the beginning of the show. We are now getting around to the second part of the season where these teams start hitting these tracks for the second time. Could also be in a factor as Steve Meal and the guys go to work on the left side. Some of these better teams start to work on their chassis setups from last time. They're starting to hit it marked down and away. Will he win the race off of pit road as Rusty Wallace blows by?
30 cars still in the lead lap. As you see here, John Andretti started down pit road, motor failed, and we saw the 300-yard sprint from those 7 guys. They were looking in pretty good shape, and all of a sudden John got it started and said, thanks, guys, but I can do it myself from here on.
Talking about young warriors, let me tell you what, those guys are veterans, and they are not kids anymore.
Johnny Benson is standing by with a guy who's really had hard luck here today.
Yeah, he sure has. I'm here with Bobby Labonte, and I tell you what, top running Chevrolet, and this happens. You going to try to get back on a track, or what are you going to do?
Yeah, we're going to get it back on the racetrack, but, you know, it's aerodynamically hurt, and the frame's been on the rear end, but, you know, that's the way it goes. Interstate Battery Chevrolet, we had a good race car today. Just got in there too hard, and I basically got over my head on the part of the racetrack just tore up a little bit, and, you know, knew it was tore up, and just got in there at the wrong place at the wrong time.
That's Bobby Labonte with the Interstate Batteries Chevrolet, and looks like they're trying to get her back on the track for him.
Pretty candid about that, wasn't he, guys?
Yeah, real honest. I mean, You know, sometimes you just got to call a spade a spade. If he got in too hard, he did. I mean, he's a great race car driver. He has nothing to be ashamed of. Everybody does it, and he's trying real hard. I mean, he's up in 6th or 7th place, and that's what you got to do to get into 4th, and he needed to do it. He's got to find how far he can push it. He just pushed it a little too far.
Chad Little with us today, and also up here Dick Berggren as we look the field over, coming to halfway this time by. And we can get a message from Steve Burns, sending smoke signals from pit road that he knows something about Rusty Wallace down there. Stephen.
Ken, wanted to update you on a couple of teams. Rusty Wallace's pit stop was flawless. As I said earlier, they're one of the best in the business. Now, that Bobby Labonte's misfortune on that last caution was a big advantage for Bill Elliott. On the last pit stop, Bill Elliott only took 2 tires. And they were real happy to see that caution came out because they changed 4 tires last time. I think you would have seen his car go backwards had they stayed out much longer under green.
Thanks for that report. There's the story on 94. Opportunity knocks once in a while here in unexpected ways, as, for example, Ricky Craven, who led for the first time in his career in a Winston Cup race in this caution period, stayed out and got himself 5 points for the Hedrick team.
Something I think interesting that's going on right now is you saw Elliott take on 2 tires. He was able to get great track position, was able to race up there, really didn't fall back. He might have started to fall back if the track would have remained green for a long time. What just happened out there on the track, Dick, is you said that Jeff Gordon just took on 2 tires.
And he did that same thing last week at New Hampshire and used it to his advantage to get track position. His problem all day today, Chad, has been that Jeff Gordon has not had track position. By taking just 2 tires, they pick up about 6 seconds on a pit stop, and that's usually enough to get you right up front. It was not. Gordon is still mired deep in the field here, but it certainly helped.
Did indeed. He's well, he's not mired that far back.
Oh, no, he's not way back.
Position. And Spencer is now leading as Craven has pitted. So as they get ready to go again, we'll have Jimmy Spencer leading them down. Hey, halfway in this race, this time by, last year at this point, we had 18 lead changes. We had 18 lead changes all day last year. How about 21 lead changes already today? Darn good race at Pocono here on TBS. Green is out, and Jimmy Spencer brings him down. Rick Mast in the number 1 finds himself in 2nd spot, shuffling down to the inside. You see Mark Martin making that move. 21 car on the bottom trying to get a lap back, Morgan Shepherd.
You can guarantee Earnhardt's going to be trying to get a lap back too. Can't win the race if you're lapped down.
Jimmy Spencer comes out a little sideways, picks it up. Here's Morgan Shepherd going for the tunnel turn. Jimmy Spencer only took on 2 tires. And that last, and look at Mark Martin giving you these shots as he pulls along 2nd place. Rick Master is 2nd place. This is for 2nd, and Martin with the Pyro in-car camera takes you right up there into that 2nd spot.
This is heart in your throat stuff, running this hard. Earnhardt trying to get his lap back.
You see Morgan up there. He's going to be in a good position if the caution comes back out. It looks like Earnhardt will be also. Mark Martin makes a 3 wide going down the front straightaway as they go down into turn number 1.
Take a look at this. That's Martin on the inside.
Did I say 3 wide? I meant 4.
4. Now Wallace decided he'd pull back for a second. Mark Martin all the way on the bottom. Earnhardt right there with him, and that looked like they slapped some paint.
I think they found their way through that corner by Braille, Ken.
Close your eyes and pray. You may want to look at that one again. Here they are, headed down, fastest part of the track, well over 190, close to 200.
Little contact right there.
Yep, they touched.
It's amazing to me how good Earnhardt is in those situations. Over and over again, a lot of people lose the whole thing. At that speed, putting on the binders, the weight's all the wrong way, and he drives out of those time after time.
Namely a situation Earnhardt isn't good at. He just does everything so well.
All right, well, for the moment, he's made up the lap, and so has the number 21 car, Morgan Shepherd. Leader in the event is Mark Martin in that number 6. Behind the 21 car, running on the tail end of the lead lap. Made it up, and now he has lost it again, has that number 3, Earnhardt. Had it for a second, now it's gone back the other way.
He's got to get by the 6, Mark Martin, in order to get his lap back, and then the next thing he's going to need is a caution flag. If we get a caution now, Morgan Shepherd's going to get his lap back. He would go to the back of the lead lap, but he'd be on the lead lap.
Well, he's done it once. Can he do it again? He pulled it through before.
And Martin got in there, came down the inside, and closed the door in turn 1. So Earnhardt has to start over, trying to get that lap back. Meanwhile, Morgan Shepherd, 2 car lengths in front of the leader. And Morgan
is running good enough, too, that he'd be fighting for the lead if they had a caution right now. Remember, a while back ago, he had to pit again. He thought he had a flat right front tire and came in a subsequent pit stop, lost his lap. But he needs to get it. He's hoping for a caution right now because he's running good.
One of the problems with being Dale Earnhardt is nobody wants to give you anything. If he were 3 laps down, they'd be trying to keep him 3 laps down. They absolutely do not want this guy in the lead lap because every time he gets on the lead lap, he is a threat to win the race. We can watch Mark Martin. He is going to do everything he can to keep Earnhardt back there.
That's when you're in the lead, that's one of the things you want to do is you don't want to give anybody their lap back if you can. It just might be one more person that's going to be fighting you for the win.
That spotter system these days must help a lot with that, so you can drive defensively.
Yeah, in fact, it's real important. It's happened a couple times to us this year. The spotter, that's one of the spotter's job. This kind of unwritten rule is, you know, to know who the leader is at all times so he can help you out with that. Again, the spotters are kind of up here on the top. They get a good view of the racetrack to help the drivers out with when there's an accident, when they're clear, if they're passing somebody, and so on.
Let's take you back through the top 10. Martin leading, Wallace second, Jimmy Spencer third, Mast, Jeff Gordon, Dale Jarrett to 6, Musgrave coming by in 7th, Sterling is 8th, Derek Cope running in 9th, and in 10th is Bill Elliott. Just behind him, Waltrip is 11th, and Jeff Bodine in 12th. Like Mark Martin was building up a head of steam to try to put Shepherd a lap down as they came down the main straightaway in the last lap. Riding in the Miller Genuine Draft car with Rusty Wallace.
I think Rusty's just about ready to take over Dale here, and obviously I think if Dale's going to get his lap back, he's going to have to do it on a restart because these front-running cars are just a little bit too strong right now.
Earnhardt is not running up to snuff. There's no question about that. There are several cars out here right now that are faster than his. I wonder how much that dinged-up nose is having an effect.
I would think it's got to be playing a little bit. This track is very fast at the end of the straightaways, and the aerodynamics is important for that reason.
Earnhardt did not lead when they came to Pocono the last time, but he's led 7 of the last 8. The June race was the exception, and he has not led here today.
Pocono's always been one of those kind of racetracks too, Ken, where the end of the race you'll have 30 cars in the lead lap, and I think that's what we have right now. It's a competitive race here.
29 in the lead lap at the present time, with Jeff Burton in 23rd, Kenny Wallace 24th, Rudd is back in 25th, Hamilton, now you're riding with Mark Martin, Blake Speed 27th, Terry Labonte back in 28th, Craven is 29th. He is the last car on the lead lap. And Morgan Shepherd in 30th, a lap down with Earnhardt 31st.
I'm really impressed with Morgan Shepherd, how he's running to keep his lap there ahead of Mark Martin.
And I'm impressed that Jimmy Spencer didn't just spin that car out right there. Boy, that thing really got loose coming off the corner. Jeff Gordon on the low side now trying to take Spencer. And look at Dale Jarrett. What a nice run he's having today.
And he's up there with Musgrave. That 6th spot is being contended. Look at Musgrave pull up on Dale Jarrett. All of this for position. Rick Mast in 4th, Spencer in 5th. You see Jarrett 6th, and the number 16 of Musgrave in 7th. And here comes Spencer down on the inside.
Yahoo! Spencer doesn't give up, does he? Loose car or not, he's going to try as hard as that thing will go.
2-time national modified champion out of Burt, and 3 wide over the tunnel turn.
Ted Musgrave got a really good bite coming out of the tunnel turn there, and that's going to help him getting down in there into turn 3 on the inside there of Rick Mast.
Musgrave. Oh, a man on fire. The Rocket Man right now is Musgrave. Hosted a TV show the other night. Must have the owner of the car, Jack Rouse, saw him do the TV show and said, you know, Ted, I think you better stick to your regular job. May have helped him. Take a look at this. He is flying.
28 car also just drove underneath of Rick Mast there as they went down into turn number 1.
Rick Mast having an excellent ride. Here's Derek Cope coming after him. And you see Bill Elliott clambering back into this thing. Mast sliding back a bit. Great run for Mast today, though. Another driver who needs a good finish. He has
just saw Derek Cope blow motors. They went right into turn 2 there, what we call a tunnel turn. Luckily, there was no oil, or that would have been a bad situation for Bill, who wasn't but inches behind Derek.
You saw that happen right on camera, too. It just let go. You could see a little bit of smoke coming out of the exhaust, and it just got bigger and bigger and bigger, and that was all she wrote.
I tell you, when you're a driver in that situation, you take a big swallow because for a second you just have to maintain straight. You don't want to do any drastic movements, but you wait to see and feel what's happening, and Bill probably swallowed pretty deep right there.
No caution out. Had started 19th today. Derek Cope had worked his way up to 8th. Two-time winner and was looking strong all over for him.
And the advantage Morgan Shepherd had getting his lap back, that's all over. Morgan is back in the field again, and he is still 1 lap down now.
Let's take a look at this lead change while Derek Cope was blowing up. This is lap 108.
It looked like Mark probably waved him by there. Rusty had a good run going, and Mark just kind of said, go ahead, I'll follow in behind you. As you saw, Rusty overtook him so fast.
He looked like an arrow off a compound bow. Wham.
A lot of give and take, and drivers use their hand signals a lot. Might hold your hand up and wave it back and forth, just like you're doing going down the road as you're going to wave at somebody, telling the guy to go ahead and go by me, I'm going to follow behind you.
Look at Spencer, just the back end of that car wobbling around. Musgrave trying to loosen him up a little bit more if he can in the 16 car to try to get by, get position.
4th, 5th, and 6th. Spencer in the yellow number 23. And Musgrave. Now, Musgrave's had a 2nd place finish in this track. He's darn near won a race on this track. Here's Musgrave coming after Jimmy Spencer. And Spencer used to sit up here in this grandstand and wish for the day he could be out there. He'd love to have a great day in the state of Pennsylvania.
In fact, Musgrave's 2nd was right here in June. And he also has a 2nd at Martinsville this year, a 3rd at Dover, a 4th in the Daytona 500, a 5th in the Firecracker, 6th at Sears Point and Wilkesboro. When a guy finishes that far up front that often, he is due, and Ted Musgrave is definitely due.
And is also why he's sitting in 4th place in points.
Yeah. Well, earlier we saw Kenny Schrader's car erupt in smoke, and he had to go back to the garage area, and Johnny Benson is standing by with him now. John?
I'll tell you what, Kenny Schrader's Budweiser Chevrolet started up 4th, looking for a good day there. What happened?
I think ran real good. Bud car was good. Ran top 4 or 5 all day, led a bunch, but something serious in the motor, Johnny. That's one of them days it makes a lot of noise, don't run good, and pipes, smoke comes out the pipe, so we weren't going to fix it.
Yeah, it's one of the things us drivers don't like to hear. Sorry about that.
Yeah, you guys know a little bit about that. You had a couple of DNFs, haven't you, this year? You had 4 wins, Chad.
Yeah, we experienced a little bit of motor problems at the start of the year, and knock on wood, we haven't had any since then, but we lost a motor at Richmond and again at Atlanta. Other than that, we've had a good year.
From the Duralube aerial, as you watch, Musgrave flying through traffic has taken down the Jarrett Colors in number 28, done the same to Spencer, to Mast, and he's continuing to close on the leaders. Johnny Benson, down here working in the pits with us today, first time, is the guy that is number 1 in Grand National points. Hey, let's take a look at Spencer a moment ago. A little arm wrestling out here.
Arm wrestling. I like the way you call that, Ken. Yeah. Spencer right there got a little bit loose and had to turn it away, and I'll tell you, Dale Jarrett was almost the recipient of some bad luck there.
So was Jimmy Spencer.
Yeah.
Well, he's a pit bull in a shoulder harness. That really fits with that.
But
guy in 23,
he is
isn't it?
so brave too, Ken. I mean, you see a guy with a car like that, I think almost anybody else would just say, well, I'm just going to ride this one out. Jimmy Spencer will get everything that car can possibly give.
And a little more.
Sometimes, yeah.
You're watching Earnhardt slipping back here. Boy, his quest for that 8th crown, you come to midway in the season, and usually that's when things turn around in favor of Richard Childress Racing. We're up to the 17th race this year. That's not how it's going right now for Earnhardt in the campaign. Falling back to 3rd in the standings. He could take another hit here. Here he is sliding in behind the number 94 of Bill Elliott. That's 8th place car, Elliott, and he's trying to take 7th away from Rick Mast. Down to the inside comes Elliott, making a move, trying to get 7th position from Rick Mast, and he's got it. This at lap 112. Let's go back to Johnny Benson, who can update another story about one of these top Winston Cup racers who's had a short day.
I'm standing here with Derek Cope of the Straight Arrow Ford, and Derek, what happened? Started 19th, made it up to 7th. Man, what a great run.
Thanks, Ronnie. You know, the straight arrow forward running pretty well. You know, we had it, you know, gradually getting up to the front, you know, slowly but surely, not trying to abuse the car. And, you know, when we got up to the motor, that goal going down the back chute. So, you know, an unfortunate day. We had a lot of people here from straight arrow, but nearby Bethlehem, so it was unfortunate. But we'll be back next week, Talladega.
Yeah, thank you.
Only second DNF of the season for Derek Cope in that number 12. And they're headed down to Talladega, Allison country, Alabama country next week. They'll be set for that one for sure. Watching as Musgrave continues to close on the leaders. He is now 4th. Jarrett is in 5th. Spencer is in 6th. So we're at lap 113 this afternoon, 200 to be run at Pocono, PA. Kenny Wallace getting back into his car, and for more on that story, here's Johnny Benson.
Kenny, you know, you're running good, but where's the other half of the spoiler here?
Well, darn it, you know, this is the first time, you know, the TIC car was running good. We held off Mark there to stay on the lead lap. The guys got the car real good, but the spoiler broke off, didn't have enough welds on it. So my crew chief,
buttoning him back up and getting him ready to go out there. A little spoiler problem for Kenny Wallace. The old Red Dog got bit. There's Mike Wallace's car, number 2. Or rather, Rusty Wallace is number 2. Mike Wallace is still out here, but well down, 30th position, a lap from the leaders. Got all the Wallace brothers involved in this one today. As you watch car number 6, Mark Martin running in 2nd spot. Just behind him is Jeff Gordon. It's about a minute, about a second and a half between 1st and 2nd position right now.
Hey, what's interesting, too, is Jeff Gordon's tires. Remember, he took on 2. He's still hanging right in there, although we do see Musgrave slowly creeping up there, but Gordon's hanging right in there. The front 3 haven't really lost too much ground.
Well, you can see the 24, and indeed, around comes Musgrave, moving under Morgan Shepherd and closing up.
Be interesting to see what happens if Musgrave gets to battling with Mark Martin. Musgrave told me this morning, he said, my car is actually better than Mark's. He's had him in the wind tunnel, so he knows the answer to that one. That team has no lead driver. Whichever driver is going faster, that's the one that leads. It's not a situation where Jack Roush says, well, Mark Martin's our top driver, so we're going to let him have all the good stuff. They both get all the good stuff.
You saw John Andretti running slowly down to the bottom of the track up there as they came into that flat turn number 3.
You can see Musgrave struggling right now to get around the 21 car, Morgan Shepherd, who remembers the lap down. That's the time right now where drivers really got to be patient. You make a mistake now that costs you, like, you know, get yourself in a wreck trying to pass a lap car. That's when you get paid the dollars right there. Musgrave's a real patient driver. He'll wait till he has the right timing to make the pass.
Musgrave hangs it on the bottom, and this time he has it going to turn 1. Working the 120th lap. There's the difference between the 24 of Gordon and Musgrave. Rusty Wallace, you've seen him come and go. How do you rate this guy, Jeff Gordon, now in 3rd?
You just go out and you drive and you forget about it. I mean, he just does autograph sessions nice for the people. He treats them nice, stops and goes out of his way to do things, and which is hard to do sometimes when you concentrate. But I think he's doing a good job. I don't see the boy doing nothing wrong. I've unfortunately all year long I haven't been in a position where I raced him, but every time I have, he's raced me clean. I haven't had no problems with him, and it's been okay. I think he's doing a fine job. It's just that, heck, what do you say? I'd like to be in his position right now.
Yeah, you heard a few boos out here today, and you did in New Hampshire when Gordon was introduced. There's Rusty Wallace. The guy leading in 4 seconds back is Jeff Gordon.
You know how it is. You either love or you hate the guy that's winning most of the races.
You can flip the calendar back about 15 years, and you have another brash youngster, some kid named Earnhardt, who was stalking the 7-time champion Richard Petty on the NASCAR Tour. In 80, they headed into the July event right here at Pocono. Earnhardt muscled his way past Petty and took the point lead right here. People were unhappy with him that day, beating the king.
Can you imagine anybody being unhappy with Richard Petty?
Well, and it went both ways. He was a racer.
But being
look at this. Now here comes, and that 2-tire change is beginning to tell the story on the 24. It's backing up, and 16's digging in.
It is. Ted Musgrave just made a nice clean pass right there, going down into turn number 3. And I think the 2 tires are now starting. He's starting to slip a little bit more. He can't quite get the grip that the other cars can with the 4 tires that they changed.
So you see 121 laps up. 302.5 miles completed here this afternoon as Musgrave continues to zero in on that first Winston Cup victory and draws away by 3 car lengths from Jeff Gordon. And here's Michael Waltrip in trouble again.
It looks like Michael's got a flat right front tire, and he's having to slow down right now to...
We may have the reason why. Oh, look at that nose.
Yeah, that's the tire that's come apart right there.
He and Todd Bodine maybe, huh?
He's not pointed the right way there, as you can see, so they have made some contact, and Michael probably did a good job avoiding the wall.
I think he scraped the wall.
Did he?
I think he banged it a
Yes,
little.
he did.
Yes, he did.
And there were some tire marks there, too, Ken.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
see the interliner right there? That shows what the interliner does. It's holding the car off of the rim, and then the car right now is resting on the interliner. That's the safety feature that NASCAR has.
What was the speed limit today on pit road? 60, 65? Anyway, down on pit road is Michael Waltrip, who had been running in the number 30 up there in 15th position. Amoco mid-race report upcoming for you. Tell you how it was through the halfway point in the race. Look at that. More lead changes in the first half than in the entire race last year among 11 drivers, averaging 133 miles per hour. Those are the cars out. Strickland, Schrader, Cope from the 41. And here's a look at your lap leaders so far. If you're just joining us, we got about the first 40, 50 laps in with just 1 caution, 2 or 3 laps for debris. Schrader had a chance at it. He's retired. Wallace has been fighting for the lead most of the afternoon. Dale Jarrett looking very good out here today and continues to look good as he runs in 5th spot. Yeah, that's how the leadership has been split up thus far in the Miller Genuine Draft 500. So we'll take a quick break and be back. One of the riders out here that we... Hello, Hertz, about that vehicle I rented.
Actually, I think that's your rental car, Ken.
No, it's Berggren's. I rode in it this morning. Oh, gosh. There's action everywhere. And some of the best action is being furnished right now by number 98. Jeremy Mayfield is up to 9th. He is closing on Bodine. Jeremy Mayfield started 38th out here today, bidding for his first career top 10 finish, and he's looking stout. Jimmy Spencer just up there in front of him. Mayfield has gone by Kyle Petty and Sterling Marlin. Rick Mast moved up into this top 10 spot, and he's not letting off. Jeremy having a wonderful run in that RCA car for Cale Yarborough. Three-way battle back here.
When you talk about youngsters, he's only 26 years old, Ken. He is one of the young lions, one of the racers of the future.
Yeah, when you talk about the phenomena of the young that keep breaking through, a lot of people say, including Cale Yarborough, that Jeremy Mayfield, now the move. As you saw the 23 car get a little loose, and Bodine scooted right down to the inside and took advantage and brought Mayfield with him. So that brings Mayfield up another spot. What did that give him, 8th?
He's going to make a move right now coming out of turn 3, it looks like, too.
How about for 7th? Jeremy Mayfield.
He's really running good right now. The engine builder for that car is Tony Cola, and he's the one who started me out in the Winston West Series. I know they've got a good engine builder behind him.
Getting a report that the 42 car is showing a loose tailpipe now on Kyle Petty's car. But look at this struggle. To 7th, and that is Bodine. And he has 7th spot. It may be just a momentary hold in that position as Jeremy Mayfield bears down. Crew Chief Bob Johnson's done a lot of work on this car, and it's performing beautifully for Jeremy.
So much irony here. When Jeff Bodine was a young man, a racer trying to make a name for himself in this sport, this is the racetrack where he made moves like this and where he suddenly came into national attention for running so well, so strongly. And look at this. 26-year-old Jeremy Mayfield right on his tail.
And I believe Bob Johnson's off that team.
Yeah, I think he is. I think he is.
So, here's Mayfield again to the inside. Looking for 7th, and then slides back in behind car number 7, Bodine. Black flag on the 42. Dragging the tailpipe. Header down on number 42, so the consultation flag went out on him.
Just a couple more laps here, and I think we're going to start seeing some more green flag pit stops.
What did we hear about lap 132, was it, or 134? And we were supposed to see Gordon come in with
the 16 car.
We'll see.
Petty going to be coming in for that tailpipe. You know, the crew chiefs talk amongst each other and try to make strategy for when they should come in. It was interesting this morning, Tony Glover gave Ray Evernham a real hint as to what he might do to speed up his pit stops. He said, you know, we start out the day with the car just about neutral, just about right. He says, and every time Sterling comes in, he wants another round of wedge, another round of wedge, another round of wedge. He says, we're just going to stop the whole thing. We're going to start it out with 4 rounds of wedge before the race starts. We won't have to touch the wedge bolt at all. Ray thanked him very, very much for that advice.
A constant battle all the time.
Now, boys, good stop.
You hear Kyle and them talking about having a good stop. It's always a constant battle. You know, crew chief driver, need a round. The car's loose. The car's pushing. You never can get it perfect, except when you win the race. And even then, sometimes you're saying, you know, I could have lapped the field if it would have been just a little bit better.
129th lap as we watch this, the first of the pit stops. We'll get him pretty close to home. 19 and 8/10 seconds.
Get us all you can now, buddy.
To get us all you can means go as fast as you can down pit road without exceeding the speed limit. Do not exceed the speed limit or you get in trouble.
You know where those timers are.
3rd and 4th place coming at you.
You know, they watch the marks. You guys watch the marks on the racetrack, don't you? And you know when you get out of it, and you know when you can step on it and go, Chad?
Well, when you get in your pit road speed under caution at the start of the race, you watch your RPM on your tack. That's what you gauge your speed by going down pit road. I noticed, too, look at Jeff Gordon here. He still hasn't fallen off very much, taking on 2 tires. I really think that's going to play into it at the end of the race if we have green flag conditions.
23 lead changes among 11 drivers, 3 cautions for 16 laps. The story thus far in this race. The Miller Genuine Draft 500. Ooh, Gordon backed up a little there. Had to come out of that throttle just a bit. Keep that car balanced up, and the 16 continues to wheel away. Musgrave looking for that first Winston Cup victory. Comes into this day's event 4th in points after 6 races. This number 16 has 6 top 5s, 10 top 10s.
He's had a great year. It's just a wonderful year for him, especially without he hasn't won a race yet, and he's sitting 4th in points. That'd be a comfortable position.
About 54 behind Earnhardt coming in. Rusty Wallace should be getting ready to come on pit road shortly. Dick Trickle is already bringing the Bud Moore Motorcraft car in. Jimmy Spencer is on pit road. Spencer, who had been running in 10th, coming in. We still have 26 cars in the lead lap, with Kyle Petty on the tail end of that affair, making an unscheduled stop, and 25th Craven, 24th Hamilton, 23rd Jeff Burton. Bobby Hamilton now on pit road. Leader is in and Martin is in. 1st and 2nd place headed on to pit road, so let's go down there and follow the action from where it's going to happen as the teams take over. Martin and Wallace.
Rusty Wallace into his pit stall. These guys have been flawless all day. Earl Barber, the gas man. Scott Robinson, the jack man. Everything going smoothly as usual. They come around to the driver's side. Scott Robinson slams the car up. The tires go on in unison. Front, left, right, deep down and away.
Nice stop.
16.5 seconds.
Unbelievable good stop. That's a first-class pit stop right there.
That could make the difference.
Yep. Gordon took 4 that time around.
And remember, at 160 miles an hour, we're going 230 feet a second.
Stop reading over Bergman's shoulder there.
It makes me sound good.
All right, we're getting ready to go to break. All the leaders are, and he is really putting every bit of effort into this. Ray Evernham and company has tried to put together a car for him that would give him the balance to take him home. We'll see what happens. And Howard Comstock, Ted Musgrave's crew chief, is standing by right now with Randy Pemberton. Let's go and get a report on that number 16.
Howard, another heck of a run for you guys. You had some problems off at the top of the race, but you got them fixed. What's Ted saying about the car?
Yeah, we got him behind real bad at the beginning there, and I hated that, but he drove it up through there. It's a little bit loose when the sun comes out, so if the sun stays out, it's going to be loose the rest of the race. We're hoping for some clouds. Come on, clouds.
Okay, that's Howard Comstock. You think the weather, if not the temperature, makes a difference? Just the cloud cover can affect these chassis.
And you're seeing that shadow from underneath those cars. Sun has come back out, although we have a lot of overcast. There's some breaks here, and right now the track is being favored by them.
I heard Howard Comstock say they were hoping for some clouds. I think the reason why is because he's a little bit loose. Clouds will make the track tighten up just a tick, which would be towards his favor. The guys that are a little tight right now, they're wishing just the opposite, that the sun stays out.
Watching as the 16 car running in the third position, those looking for Rusty Wallace in first and Mark Martin in second. And you have Fords currently showing 1, 2, and 3 on the field. The fourth place is the Chevrolet.
We were watching that in the right-hand corner of that shot, Ken, that grandstand absolutely packed. When was the last time you saw a shot of a baseball stadium where every single seat was sold out?
You're going to get in as much trouble as I do. You better leave that alone.
Oh, it's just so nice. I mean, those of us who've loved auto racing all our lives to come to a place like this, and when this racetrack first opened, the grandstand was perhaps a quarter this size, and it was only half full. And Doc Mattioli and his family have worked so hard on it. NASCAR has worked so hard on it. The drivers have done such a good job, and this place is packed. Look at this crowd, and it just makes those of us who love racing very happy to see.
Dr. Mattioli's spinach patch is packed today. It's like 120,000. Take a look at those folks enjoying this Winston Cup race. And next week, same story in Talladega, Alabama. And yesterday, the same story in Denver, Colorado. Dick Bergen and I were out there for the truck race. 8 o'clock in the morning, they'd sold every seat. Unbelievable. So, Rusty Wallace has the advantage, and let's check the interval, first to second spot. Tell you that Musgrave is third, Gordon is fourth, Jarrett is fifth, Nemechek is sixth. There you see Martin, your second place runner. Back in seventh is Elliott, Spencer is eighth, Mayfield still ninth, Kyle Petty 10th, Jeff Bodine 11th, and Darrell Waltrip. And there's that interval, and it's tightening up now between first and second position. We're down to 22 cars in the lead lap. There's Musgrave in third and Gordon in fourth. We talked about Gordon trying to get that third straight. One of the tough ones to do to get to that. Herb Thomas, you know that name?
Yeah, I sure
Back
do.
In the 50s?
And he did
pulled that off.
He sure did.
But the tracks in those days were places like Macon, Georgia, and your old favorite, Langhorne, Pennsylvania.
Yeah, Richard Petty's pulled 3 straight. Rusty Wallace has pulled 3 straight. Darrell Waltrip has done it. Earnhardt has done it.
John Andretti in the 37 car just pulled in off of the track and behind pit wall. I wonder what happened to him.
He's been limping for some time. For the lead, Wallace versus Martin. Lap 140, no contest. 6 goes down the inside. Martin's there. Now Wallace coming back after him. Let's see if he's got anything for him.
Boy, that is some tight racing. Give and take like we talked about earlier. You know, I think Rusty probably gave him the old hand signal to go ahead and drive underneath me. I'll follow you for a while. We'll see how that works.
Those Fords really having a great day. Ricky Rudd was saying that having that little bit of extra rear spoiler on these cars didn't have much effect last week at Loudon, but this week it could because of these long straightaways, in particular this main straightaway. You don't want any more drag than absolutely necessary, so your speed down the straight will be good, but you need enough rear spoiler to get the rear force down needed in the turns. You can see Wallace right here falling back a bit, but the Fords have a little bit more than they've had before. Let's go to Randy.
Well, Steve Neal sitting here on this toolbox watching Mark go by. Are you better in the sunshine or the shade? It seems like a snip and tuck with you and Rusty, at least for now. Ted's coming on as well.
Yeah, Ted's good no matter what. Rusty was better a while ago in the sun. We were better in the shade. Now the sun's out. Looks like we're a little bit better than Rusty. So it's a matter of a pound of air pressure around the wedge or track bar height back and forth. Rusty's real good. The darn Ted's right there coming, and that 24 is always lurking. So we'll just have to wait and see. Got a long ways to go.
Hey, how come the Fords seem to be better today here?
We're working hard, working real hard. We got our tails beat the whole spring and realized we maybe didn't do as much as we might have all winter. This whole crowd has pulled together and worked real hard, and we're having a pretty good day.
Caution is on the track at lap 142, 355 miles deep in the event. 145 to go, and they've thrown the 4th caution of the day. The 22 car down in the grass. Jimmy Hensley taking over in this machine a couple of races back, comes to rest. So we have a caution period. That'll bunch up 21 cars for the lead. They'll come back to the stripe.
Hensley's had no fun at all in this car. This is his third drive in it at Daytona in the firecracker. The engine failed on the last lap in the second race last weekend at New Hampshire. He crashed hard, and here he sits in the grass at Pocono. This is a hard-working team, Bill Davis Group, and you can better believe that they're going to get it together and get that car out front where it belongs.
Jimmy Hensley back with an old friend, Chris Hussey, who as a 12-year-old kid started to come out and follow him at the Caraway Speedway, with him off and on over the years, through some great years, and delighted to be back in that Bill Davis team. But it's not a good day for either Chris Hussey or Jimmy Hensley, or for that matter, Bill Davis right now as the 22 car lies stationary on the grass here at Pocono.
Remember, Pocono is one of the hardest racetracks of all the NASCAR tracks on motors. The valve train turns so hard here at the end of the straightaway. That's also one of the reasons that they started using the overdrive, so you wouldn't have to turn the motor so hard at the end of the straightaway. So it's about this time of the race that you start to see motors let go. The valve train just gets abused. You start breaking valves, breaking springs.
Attrition rate beginning to build. Chad Little with us. Dick Berggren along this afternoon on TBS as we cover the Miller Genuine Draft 500 for you. Coming up later this season, first week of September, Saturday night, join us at Richmond, Virginia. Winston Cup stars will be there on that 3/4 mile track. There you see the two leaders at the present time. And now you find the number 16 of Musgrave right there in third. Barry Muse, the Jackman, on the 24 car. Give you a little up close and personal on some of these folks that work along pit road. They get ready to bring these machines in. Here are the top three. These Ford products all coming down. Here's Jeff Gordon and Barry Muse. Take a gander at this Jackman as he comes in. He's all set, guys?
He's a big guy, too. 6'2", 230 pounds.
I'll tell you, Dick has all the stats.
Loves it. Here he goes.
They use those special jacks now that just require maybe 1 and 1.5 pumps to get the entire car off the ground so the tire changers can pull the tire off. 2 tires, about 8 seconds.
Barry Muse working on number 24, getting it out here that they've got together to try to give him his 8th win today, try to give him a national championship. He's leading in the points as we came into today's affair. Charlie Seegers, now there's one real old.
You know what cheers let's say, Ken?
Let's go to Randy.
Well, most of these guys on this DuPont crew, as you can see behind me, they're youngsters. They've put them all together. They actually have a coach here in the pit crew. Andy Papathanassiou used to be the Jackman on this car, no longer. Matter of fact, right after that last stop, he walked up to the NASCAR official, said, was that better about jumping off the pit wall, trying to make sure that they appease and try to do things right, not jump over the wall too early. Tried to talk to a couple of these guys, get them on camera for a little recognition. Don't want anything to do with it. They said, our man is the crew chief himself. We don't want to talk. He's the guy that runs this program, does everything. So that's the way it is. Ray Evernham is the man. They said, we defer to him. If you want to talk to anybody, let Ray Evernham do it. So this team is total unity. Before the race, they had a little march out on pit road. Everybody high-fived each other, all in unison. It's quite something to watch. I mean, they are professionals all the way. Now let's go down to Steve Burns.
Randy, I'm with Larry McReynolds, Dale Jarrett's crew chief. Dale Jarrett's average finish in the last 6 races has been 31st. Before this pit stop, you guys were running 5th. It has to be a big shot in the arm, all the adversity you faced.
Well, it really has. You know, we still got 50-something laps to go, and no matter what the outcome, you know, we feel good that we've had that Texaco Haviland Mac 2 Ford up front most of the day. We keep adjusting on it. Hadn't got it quite there, but hopefully this last 50 laps it'll be a little better. It's seen a little better that run. You know, Steve, I just want to take 5 seconds and thank all the fans for all the cards and letters, especially the prayers that they've sent to myself and my family during my mom's recent passing. It really meant a lot to see that kind of support out there.
Okay, thank you, Larry.
Larry McReynolds, who does an outstanding job in the pits, working on TV when he's not working on that car number 28. He certainly contributes a great deal. A guy that came out of working on stock cars over in Tennessee. Proud to be a part of racing, and it certainly shows. Here is Jeff Gordon bringing the field down, getting ready on this restart. They say, NASCAR says that only 38 times has the driver gone on to win more than 2 races in a row, and only 13 times has it ever been more than that. And some very special times, like when Harry Gant did it.
What Gordon has an opportunity to do is really outstanding, and it should be nothing to take away from that at all.
Dennis Setzer was driving a truck yesterday, and he was saying that after Milwaukee, Harry Gant said, you know, I was sitting there, I wish I had a radio, because if I'd have been on, I could have coached you into first place. Which we still wish we had Harry around. Nice that he's having a retirement and a good one, but boy, he contributed a lot.
He ran well at this racetrack.
And he ran beautifully at this racetrack. Back under green. Lap 146 is where they take it.
I love the shot here as they go down into turn 1 and they're 6 and 7 wide.
Oh, Craven getting tagged, tries to get it back and does so.
Well, that's some good driving there by those guys to avoid a wreck in that situation.
Ricky Craven in number 41 had his heart right up in his throat.
Boy, that could have been a pile-up, 6 or 7 cars deep.
That's why remember, he wrecked twice here. He wrecked in practice about 5 minutes before they finished practice, then he came out and qualified, and he tagged the wall in the identical same spot that he went off on. And now you can see that thing is loose. Let's look at it again on this replay.
Yeah, I don't think
Morgan.
Yeah, he got across Morgan there. He probably didn't know he was underneath him, and then just did a great job of not overcorrecting the car.
Another angle. Well, I'll tell you, Spencer, all those guys did a great job.
What a mess that could have been if they did not do a great job. Well, for a change, Dale Jarrett gets by and nothing happens. Maybe his luck is changing. I hope so. Craven is on pit road. He's got a flat left rear tire out of that incident.
Jeff Bodine has moved up in here with that car number 7 toward the front. He's into first place. Here's Wallace coming back after him as on this restart. We had this incident down at turn 1 to report on. Bodine is now your leader. Wallace is into second. Gordon third. Musgrave fourth. You have Dale Jarrett in fifth. Nemechek in sixth. There's the scramble. It's a beauty.
It really is. Jeff Bodine is really driving well today and aggressively.
Oh, gets a little tap. Comes up high.
The old I'll get on your bumper, make you loose trick, I see.
And it worked very effectively, didn't it, Jack?
Did a great job.
Yeah.
Wallace back in front. Bodine may have his sights set on him for more than a reason of getting back to first place here now. Wallace first, Gordon second, Musgrave third, Dale Jarrett in fourth.
You know, everybody talks about what a phenomenal sensation Jeff Gordon is and how he's done so well with so few races under his belt, but very few people are aware that his crew chief, Ray Evernham, has barely more experience in Winston Cup racing than Gordon does. In fact, Ray Evernham has crewed for Gordon in every single race he's ever won, and he only ran 7 other events as a crew chief, 6 for Dick Johnson and 1 for Jim Sauter. So neither one of those men are extensively experienced in the jobs they're doing.
Here's Morgan Shepherd just out that front 4. He's a lap down.
And Musgrave right back in the picture again, as he has been all day long, and Dale Jarrett as well.
As you look at these standings all the way through the field, see 147. We are right at 150 at this moment. 375 miles on board in the Miller car with Rusty Wallace looking back at Jeff Gordon. Got yourself a Ford Chevy Confrontation up in front in the Miller Genuine Draft 500 at Pocono, Pennsylvania. 29 lead changes. That's the most lead changes. Let's see. Go back to Charlotte. They had 32 in the 600 this year for the whole race. And this one's far from over.
50 laps to go. We could break that, Ken. Oh, Morgan Shepherd just keeps plugging away. He remains a lap down in that number 21 car. He's tried all day to get the lap back that he lost so early in the going.
That 132-mile-an-hour average is well down from the all-time race record that Alan Kowicki set here of 144 miles per hour.
Mark Martinelli got the position on the 7 car, Jeff Bodine, as they, well, again, Jeff makes a liar out of me. Jeff said, I don't think so, Bill. I'm going to go ahead and keep this spot right now.
Getting a little aggressive out here as we get down toward the end of this one.
Well, it's frustrated as a driver when you get hung on the outside and you know the people on the inside are going to have the position on you.
He got shuffled back. Bodine, as you saw from the very point, he was up there leading when Wallace came up on the rear bumper. So it's Wallace, Gordon, Jarrett, Musgrave, and Jeff Bodine. Back to Steve Burns.
Kenny with Paul Andrews, Jeff Bodine's crew chief. Paul, things got a little hairy with Rusty. Did Jeff say anything about it?
Yeah, he said he pushed him. Yeah, you know, we done those 2 cars trying to get that Exide Ford out in front. It worked good, you know, we got a good car. We've been struggling our way up to the front of the pack. You know, we've got a real good car here for the end of the race. You know, it's a shame the guys had to get a little carried away out there. I know Rusty's got a great car, getting a little impatient. I guess Mark was also, but we're going to have a good finish here. We just got to make sure we get all the way to the finish.
The Exide Batteries car of Jeff Bodine, having slipped back in the field after being up in front, trying to charge back through. Meanwhile, for the lead, Wallace and Gordon running in first and second. Just behind them, change of position here. You've got Dale Jarrett coming into third and falling to fourth is Musgrave. Randy Pemberton.
One thing to think about as this race continues to unfold here, they're looking at pit stops with about 20 or 25 laps to go. Now, Gordon's team knows that he runs well with 2 right side tires. That would mean if they wanted to take on 2 rights, they would go the final 55 laps on their lefts. I don't even think that's a problem, but where it might become a problem for the rest of these teams, if they pit under green flag and Gordon comes in after they do a lap or so, could he force these guys to take on 2 tires? Because if they take on 4, he is going to take on 2, and he's going to do it in 10 seconds, and they're going to do it in 19, and they'll be running second for sure. So a lot of pit strategy down here to try to figure out as this race unfolds.
And then that is exactly right, and what we were referring to earlier, saying that if it does come down to green the rest of the way Gordon's car's been running on just 2 tires, he's in the seat right there. He's going to force the other guys to either take on 2, or else he's going to beat him by position on the track. Because again, you can go, how many, 230 feet at 160 miles an hour?
Well, they talk about Earnhardt being the intimidator. What's really happening this year in Winston Cup racing is that Jeff Gordon and his team are forcing other people to have to play their game. They're causing the rest of the field to do what they are doing if they want to keep up.
Of the Miller Genuine Draft 500, Rick Benjamin here at the STP Pit Communication Center, along with John Andretti, the driver of the Little Caesars Ford. John, we'll talk about your situation in a moment. Look at this racing we've been watching here. Dale Jarrett takes the lead for the first time.
I think finally Dale Jarrett's having fun in that Texaco Havoline Ford, and Jeff Gordon's doing what everybody expected. He's at the front, and you know, you throw a blanket over these guys.
Now we're going to show you what happened a lap or 2 ago while we were in commercial. Rusty Wallace was the leader. Gordon was second. Now Gordon is going to make a move down the inside. Does Gordon look like the strongest car today?
Well, I don't think you can really pick the strongest car right now, because as you get in there, see, he'll get a little bit loose. He'll slide up. Rusty will end up going back underneath him.
Kind of like running Indianapolis Raceway Park in a midget. Some slide jobs coming up here. And we've got trouble on the race course. This involves the 81 of Kenny Wallace. Looks like one of the Skoll cars, the 33 of Robert Presley. Also in trouble. This would be down in the inside of turn 3. Cars are coming off of 3. Jarrett will lead this lap. Ken Squire, wild action indeed here at Pocono.
Lap 158 as Jarrett brings him across with Gordon in second, followed by Rusty Wallace third. Robert Presley, rookie in the Winston Cup ranks, clambering out of car number 33. Took a pretty solid hit down there. Turn 1 is the area of the track where this incident has taken place. And here's the Marcus car badly torn up. Car number 71. Kenny Wallace's 81 looked like it had already taken some abuse. Presley came down to the inside. Marcus got involved in it. And there you see the 71 tagging the 33. 3 cars involved in Kenny Wallace walking away. They just haven't had anything at all happen for them in Winston Cup racing this year. Nothing good.
It's a frustrated look on Kenny's face right now.
Well, that incident happened just before that picture came up. You could see that already there was some damage on the front. That Martuzzi car, number 81, and away it went, caught Presley, and then Dave Marcus was caught up in the incident. Taking a look at some of the remains, car number 81, they had tried, what, 6 times to qualify and had not qualified this season. In this, their 7th effort, they made it into the show.
That thing is absolutely a mess, isn't it? Seeing that second hit, you know, sort of like you got a sore finger or something, and you slam it in the door. Pit road's a busy place. Here we go.
He took a wallop in the wall. Whole front clip is gone and moved back on car number 81. Kenny Wallace.
And this could be the final set of stops. Somebody,
160?
Yep, somebody could go all the way from here, Ken. It's possible. It's been done before. Somebody could also run out of gas from here trying to do it.
That's also been done before.
Yes, it has.
Let's get to Randy.
Well, the 28 car is in. Jeff Clark down with the Jack 4-tire stop. He's down and away. Jeff Gordon spins the car just about coming off of pit road. It's a race between Wallace and Jarrett. Wow, this pit action is something down here today.
Leaders all in, back on the track. We're back to 19 cars in the lead lap. 19 to decide it here in the 22nd running of the Miller 500 at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Another look at that field exiting the pits. Pressure is on to get track position here. Whoa. Some of Sterling Marlin's folks in trouble for just a moment. Try to get him out. Jeff Gordon lights him up as he comes on. Just in front of him, Dale Jarrett. Musgrave coming out. Nemechek on his way, sideways. And right in front of the group, Rusty Wallace.
For only $21.95 plus shipping. Back live at Pocono under caution. 39 laps to go after the wreck down in turn 1 involving Kenny Wallace, Dave Marcus, and the Robert Presley automobile. Back with John Andretti, driver of the Little Caesars Ford. I wasn't going to let you get away as we look at Jeff Bodine out through the windshield, actually, of Bodine's car. We're going to show that pass that we started to show. Before this caution, some great racing going on. This is out of turn 3 here. Gordon and now Dale Jarrett makes it 3 wide. Do you dare do that at Pocono?
Yeah, Pocono's the one place where you can go 3, 4 wide, but the further down you go, the bumpier it gets. You'll probably see Dale Jarrett start bouncing as he gets in there, but a great pass, and that's where you want to be, in the lead.
He made it work, indeed. Now, what about your car today?
Well, I'll tell you, it's like Tim Brewer said, the Kmart Little Caesars car was on self-destruct because at the beginning, even before the first yellow, the motor started going away a little bit. It broke a shifter link, so it got stuck in 4th. And then at the end there, it screwed out a wedge bolt so that we didn't even have any wedge in the car. So it was just like everything was happening, but I didn't call in and tell them that the thing was really loose because I figured they had heard enough for the day. We just didn't want to kill the motor.
Sure. Well, good to see you here. Sorry you didn't make it all the way. A lot of folks think you're going to get your first victory here soon. Are you ready to win?
We are, and I think that the team is ready, and I think that we've come a long way, and we thought we'd have a good race today. Pocono's not been very kind to us, but we think that, you know, that victory is around the corner, and we're trying hard for it anyway.
Look forward to seeing you soon in victory lane, John Andre. Now, one other thing, where these guys are stopping with 39 to go. Can they make it the rest of the way?
Well, with Tim Brewer, they can. But I think with it depends on how many cautions are going to go here.
Yeah.
If they go enough, you might be able to squeeze 36 laps out. And I'll tell you what, if I was up there, I'd go for it.
Well, we'll look for you to have a chance to do that later this year. Thanks, John. Randy Pemberton on pit road. What are these leading teams going to do here in the late stages of this Miller 500?
Oh, Rick, this is getting good. I mean, these teams don't know if they can make it. I walked up to Jack Roush in the Mark Martin pit, asked him, do you think that you can make it? He said, well, it's a possibility. Now, he and Steve Meal right now discussing the possibility of going, I guess, about 38 laps. Now, Steve Burns has already said, I believe, that Jeff Gordon can go the distance. So possibly the Fords can't. I'll tell you, it's going to be something to see whether or not they can make it. Steve, can that 24 car go 37 or 38 laps here today?
Randy, we overheard Ray Evernham on the scanner say, Jeff, I don't think the Fords can make it, but I'm sure we can. I talked to crew chief Robin Pemberton earlier, just moments ago, and he said there's no way we can make it. In fact, he was talking to gas man Earl Barbin, talking about how they're going to get just enough gas and go. He said, I'll count you down 1,001, 1,002, 1,003, take off.
Just taking off was Sterling Marlin. For some reason, Hood was up. We'll try to get a report on that. With 92.5 miles to go, Marlin was in a lengthy time with the hood up. They kept working on the car and got it back out again. He had been running in 9th position. 3-time winner in Winston Cup racing, Sterling Marlin. Topping off, final time of the day. perhaps.
Including the winner of this race in June, Labonte, on the left of your screen, has just topped off and taken some additional fuel. Most of the guys who have been running in the back of the pack have chosen this opportunity to do just that. Realize if they've got a little bit more fuel than the other guys who are in the front who have track position have got to stop and get fuel at the end, then the folks who just took on fuel wind up with a track position. So what a neat cat and mouse game we have going on right now.
Nemechek came back in, topped his off. The number 18 car of Bobby Labonte comes back out. With Rumpel, but he's out here trying to score some points. With 19 cars in the lead lap, Wallace is in first, Jarrett is in second, Gordon third, Martin fourth, Musgrave fifth, Hillen in sixth, and Randy can tell us more about Sterling Marlin's car.
Left front shock broke, changed it on pit road, so Sterling back underway. That's about it from the forepit.
Looking further back on the restart coming up, we'll have Bobby Hillen up into sixth spot, Ricky Rudd in seventh, Jeff Bodine eighth, followed by Spencer, Bill Elliott rounding out the top 10, and Jeremy Mayfield just behind them in 11th spot as they get ready to turn them loose another time.
And we should update the four-time winner, Darrell Waltrip, has dropped out with apparent engine problems. That'll be his fourth engine problem in 6 appearances here at Pocono. Waltrip behind the wall.
Go on board Martin's car on this restart with his roof cam. He is in 4th position. Pyro camera giving you this shot as they come down out of this turn number 3 into this long straightaway. They'll be at lap 163 when they take green. Underway. Down into turn number 1. Rusty Wallace leads the pack. The 28 car, Dale Jarrett, right there in second spot. Jeff Gordon getting sorted out on the outside. Remember that Earnhardt a lap down in this affair. Dale Earnhardt being shown back in 20th position. Morgan Shepherd in the 21 is 21st. And Hamilton in the 43 back there in 22nd as they come up.
Rusty jumped out to a real comfortable lead right off the bat.
He really was flying. Wallace out in front. Wants this one bad. Take a look at this. Here's Mark Martin and Musgrave. And there you see the Gordon car looking at 3rd, 4th, and 5th there as they close it down and come into the main straightaway.
Rusty is ever so hungry, and certainly after all the controversy about the roof flap deal here, he would like to win this race and put all that roof flap conversation behind and instead talk about how well they ran in this race.
Well, that would also help pay for that fine they got over the weekend.
I think Roger can afford it.
You think?
Yeah, I think, yeah.
From 22nd position up for the lead, Rusty Wallace now in front. Riding midnight. Rather, has 13 wins.
In 31 races, Ken, what a record that automobile has got.
26 top 5s in those 31 races.
Of course, Rusty's record's nothing to scoff at either. He's got 348 career starts with today's race, 40 wins. That's a pretty good record. That's more than 1 in 10 starts have wound up in victory lane for Rusty Wallace. Won the pole and the race here in June 1994. He won here in July 1991.
Right now it's Wallace first, Jarrett second, and there you see Gordon in 3rd spot. And there's the 3 a lap down.
You know, some of the lap cars here, of the 3 car and the 21 car, for example, they could play a part of this race as we get down to the later stages, holding back guys like Gordon there that you see, and some of the other cars running for contention.
Dale Earnhardt, Gordon's getting really tough out there. So what are you going to do about it?
We got to be more competitive and closer. You can't just, do it by getting beat like we did last week. We get competitive and start running 2nd, 3rd with him and racing with him more. You work with him more, on strategy and pressure. But right now we can't put pressure on him not finishing like that.
Sure can't put pressure on now. A lap down in 20th position is Earnhardt. Gordon trying to muster just a little bit more and go back after. Those 2 Fords up in front, Rusty Wallace and Dale Jarrett. Great to see Dale Jarrett that Robert Yates, number 28, having this kind of day again.
And it's really started 2 weeks ago when at Milwaukee he got into a Grand National car and won a race. Didn't even get an opportunity to practice the car or qualify the car because he was off doing other things, but he wound up winning the event. And he looks supercharged today, doing a great job in that number 28.
Last win for that Robert Yates team, Sears Point. Ernie Irvin was at the controls in May of '94. Right there in second spot and trying to close it up. Jeff Gordon around the lap car of number 3. Earnhardt and trying to move in on those leaders. Martin stays 4th. Musgrave's 5th. Rudd is 6th. Hillen falling back a spot. Here's Jimmy Spencer up to 7th. Bobby Hillen in 8th. Bodine is 9th, and we're watching Bill Elliott on the move. He's around Burton and up into 10th.
Morgan Shepherd just keeps hanging in there, trying to get his lap back all day long. There he is, 3rd the serial order on your screen. 1 lap down in the number 21 car all day long. He has been trying to pass the leader and get a caution flag.
Well, he thought he had a flat tire earlier in the race, and instead of taking a chance, he gambled and came in instead of taking a chance of staying out on the track and finding out for sure. And it worked out against him, and now he's been fighting all day long to get back in the lead lap.
Had such a great run of that 2nd place finish at New Hampshire International Speedway a week ago. Morgan Shepherd for the lead. Wallace first. Here's Jarrett right there, a car length behind, and Jeff Gordon beginning to nip away the interval between the 2nd place car and himself.
The leader has won twice here. Jarrett in the 28 has never won here, nor has his team ever won here. They came close. They led the most laps on one occasion with Davey Allison driving, but they have never won at Pocono.
Jarrett looks like he's turned it up a little.
I think they
again from 15th spot.
I think they've all pretty well got it turned up now. We're getting down to her on lap 168.
Take a look at this battle. Back in 9th spot, that's Jeff Bodine trying to hold off Bill Elliott, the pole sitter. The X-side car, number 7, right in there. You're riding with him as he's trying to find some running room. Dive down to the inside on Bobby Hillen. Hillen, that U.S. Air car, number 77, is having a great day. He stays up in the hunt in 8th position. Right behind Bodine comes Bill Elliott, followed by Ward Burton and Jeremy Mayfield back there in 12th. 170 complete when they come by. 30 laps to go here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Here's the 75. Todd Bodine came onto pit road earlier, got spun around, just tapped the wall a little, but he has stayed up in this race. Todd Bodine, number 75. Bill Elliott closing in on Jeff Bodine. Todd's car is 1 lap down, running in 23rd. 18 cars remain in the lead lap. On the tail end of that lap is Jeff Burton. Rick Mast is 17th. Marlin is 16th. Brett Bodine in number 11 is 15th. Terry Labonte is 14th. Nemechek in 13th. Mayfield in 12th. 75 running a lap down. Jeff Bodine trying to make a move in through here. Meanwhile, further up, Musgrave riding this one out for the moment in 5th spot. Race is stabilized among those leaders with Wallace, Jarrett, Gordon, 1, 2, 3. And just behind them, Martin in 4th, Musgrave in 5th. Earnhardt just joining us. He's a lap back. Going to hurt him in the points today again, big time.
You see that Jeff finally got around the lap car of Todd Bodine. A lot of patience being shown out there today, especially racing some of the lapped cars.
Chad made an interesting point a little while ago about engines and DNFs, and this is about the point in the race when we can really expect to see people having engine problems. Rusty Wallace right now, leading this event, has 5 career Pocono DNFs. Guess what? Every single one of them came from a failed engine. This race in the spring here at Pocono, 5 engine failures. Last year in July, this race, 7 engine failures. And most often they come toward the end of the race. Look at Jarrett on the bottom side.
Here's Jarrett going for it. Puts that Haviland Texaco car to work. and has himself almost first place. Let's see, tunnel turn. He's going to take it, and here comes Morgan Shepherd trying to get that lap back.
And you can guarantee Morgan is going to give an inch because that means getting his lap back right there.
And with them comes Jeff Gordon. Yep. Gordon pops up into second. Wallace back to third. Wallace counterattacks.
It's the old slip and dive deal right there. You saw Dale Jarrett knew that Morgan got in the corner extra hard to get his lap back, and then all of a sudden Jarrett just kind of waited. He knew Morgan was going to slide up a little bit, and he did, and Jarrett got the position again.
So Morgan Shepherd is still a lap down. Dale Jarrett spurts out in front. Wallace back to second. 34th lead change in the Miller 500.
Chad, how frustrating is that when you're all day long just trying to accomplish one single solitary thing, get your lap back? What's it feel like to run that many laps and not have it happen?
It's very frustrating. I mean, you say to yourself it's all in vain because he's not in fourth place. As you see his car there, he's lapped down in 20th or in that position. So it's very frustrating. But he's got to remember, if he makes a mistake that costs him, he's looking at points, and he's up in the points battle, so he's just got to have a good day.
That move was so strong, so good. Shot right down the inside for just a moment. There. I'm there. And then you're nowhere. You're right back in second, third, fourth in the line and running a lap down, as is Morgan Shepherd right now, but he certainly gave it a great shot. Look at this shot. The aerial with Jarrett, Wallace, Gordon, giving us this great race in front of this tremendous crowd. No time to call your bet in right now, let me tell you.
No.
That one's wide open.
It sure is. And I'll tell you what, the people in this grandstand, I don't know why anybody paid for a seat here. Everybody has been standing up since that lap when the lead changed on 3 occasions. Here's another good reason to stand up. I don't think there's a soul in this place that's sitting down.
Rusty's car to me right now, you guys, looks like it's a little bit tight. You watch him going down into turn number 1. He slides up about a half a car length each time. It allows the guy behind him to get right up on his bumper and get a better run coming off the turns.
And right here in the tunnel turns where he got knocked down before. We'll see what happens next time in turn number 1 as Jeff Gordon squares up the number 24 and comes after Rusty Wallace. Won this race in 1991.
If we have Chad Little come back and do another race, Ken, and I hope we do, we need to have an in-booth camera focused on his hands. Because I don't know if he could talk about cars if he couldn't use his right hand and his left hand to talk about how one passes another and one is beside another. It's really fun up here to watch.
That's, it's just one of those things.
You get used to that sort of thing, though, talking to your crew chief, don't you?
That's right. That's right.
Saw that shift up. 6 cars, nose to tail, with Jarrett, Wallace, Gordon, Martin, Musgrave, those 6. Then Jimmy Spencer to 7. Jeff Bodine back in 8. Bill Elliott still lies 9th. Rusty Wallace having some hot fun out here in this summertime at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Perfect day for a race, and this is what he loves the most. Just to go out there and go racing. He used to go racing with his brothers all the time. That must have been quite a thing. Here he is trying to close in another time on Dale Jarrett. Coming off 3, he's got a little. Rusty Wallace out of St. Louis, Missouri. What were those hot summers like in Missouri for the 3 Wallace brothers who were all in this race today?
Oh, there's been many times we got in such arguments. I remember one night me and Mike got in such an argument that Mom and Dad took us up, took Mike and he set him down, took a garden hose and cooled him off.
Ernie Irvan is in front of Rusty Wallace, and Wallace isn't giving out. He's digging in. Then in 3rd spot, it's Jeff Gordon. Mark Martin is running in 4th. And going 5th is Musgrave, looking for that first Winston Cup victory. But the man of the hour going for 3 in a row at the present time, Jeff Gordon is clambered right up on the rear deck of car number 2. 3 cars in a bunch. Put a hanky over that top 3 as they go down into turn number 1.
You know, the reports that we're hearing, too, from the pit road is that the 28 car is going to go the distance. They're not going to stop, and the other cars say they have to stop. The 28 car is going to roll the dice and say, hey, we've got to win a race this year. This is what we're going to do it.
Have you ever told a story like that on the scanner and tried to throw somebody off a little?
Yeah.
Here comes Wallace to the inside, ready to challenge at turn 2. Got it.
Good pass.
Gordon coming with him. Lightning fast changes all around this racetrack today, of which there have been 34 official lead changes among 13 drivers. And Rusty Wallace is back in front, but if he has to stop, Robert Yates will be smiling. Robert Yates. His car number 28 now lies back in third. Let's go to Randy.
Well, if anything, if Dale Jarrett could stick on the bumper of the 24 and the 24 does not have to pit, which they don't think they do, he may be able to conserve just those few extra precious drops that he needs to get in that last lap and make a run at Gordon, because Wallace, they're already saying they don't think they can make it. So if Rusty's got a pit, that's maybe the DJ's only way of trying to win this race is to save a few extra drops and make a run at Gordon the last lap or two.
What do you think, guys?
It's a cliffhanger. There's no question about it, Ken. Of course, if we have a caution flag between now and then, it will change everything. But, boy, I'll tell you, I've been on pit road when this stuff is going on, and you look at the crews, and literally you can see the sweat on the palms of their hands as they're struggling with these decisions.
I don't think you'll see the guys up front taking the gamble of going all the way. They're up in points. It'd be too much of a gamble for them to do it. I mean, today, the most they've run is 35 laps. They were telling me this morning it's 34, 35 is the most they can go. They've got to go 37 without stopping, so I don't think you'll see anybody doing that.
No speed record here today, but certainly the excitement is as high as it's ever been at Pocono as you watch Jeff Gordon trying to reel in Rusty Wallace right now for his third win in a row.
A lot of the fuel mileage thing is up to the driver. How gently can he behave with his foot on the throttle, and how carefully can he run the car through a line. Clyde Booth said that when he went to work for Darrell Waltrip, the thing he wanted to learn more than anything else was what was Darrell Waltrip's secret about how to get fuel mileage. And he looked at the car and he chased it all around, and he discovered it wasn't the car, it was the driver that got the fuel mileage.
Because he was so smooth.
That's right.
Main straightaway, and you're watching first and second. See how close Gordon is, and then you see back there to Dale Jarrett. Now take a look. We'll give you the rest of the interval. There's Mark Martin. He is in fourth, and you see Musgrave right there in fifth position. So that's how they're laid out around the track. As we get down to show and tell time, lap 181 just put up on the board.
You know, Martin and Musgrave right now are kind of hoping that they'll see a caution before the end of this race. They'll get bunched back up, and that'll change the strategy completely.
Morgan Shepherd, what a go he's given it today. But still, looking up from 19th, a lap down. Jeff Burton is 20th. Earnhardt back in 21st. Gordon again closing in. Does he have any more left to go after that Ford that's up in front? Ford and Chevy 1 and 2.
Think about all the things they changed in Gordon's car, Ken. They changed the engine, the transmission, the brakes. They changed the suspension, and look at how well he is running for such a young team to have gone through that and be here where they are today. It's just amazing.
Bobby Hillen's fallen back a little, folks. He's back to 13th from 7th in just the last few laps. He's given that number 77 U.S. Air car a whale of a ride out here today. Ooh.
There's your caution right there, you guys. Guys watching back at home, that'll be your caution in just a couple laps. I'll make a bet on it.
Exhaust header?
Yeah, it's a piece of exhaust pipe, I think. Yeah. Header pipe.
No sign of a caution on the track. 182 complete. We'll take a quick break and come back to finish it up for you today here at Pocono, Pennsylvania, with Wallace and Gordon hard after it. To go, 3 in a row. Rusty Wallace, 1 year back. Dover, Pocono, Michigan. Trying for 3 in a row. Jeff Gordon currently in second place. 1 at Daytona, 1 at New Hampshire. Coming to the inside to try to win at Pocono, and he's underneath car number 2. With him comes Dale Jarrett. It's Gordon going into first. The Fords drop back into the second and third spot. The Chevrolet is now out in front. Some kind of change. This in that 186 lap.
Well, you can hear the people down below just cheering Jeff Gordon on or whatever they're doing. I mean, you can hear him yelling from here. Rusty slipped just a little bit. That's all Jeff Gordon needed. He drove right underneath him, and along came Dale Jarrett.
Take another look at that pass for the lead that put Gordon out in front in his quest for 3 in a row.
You can see Rusty Wallace is a little high right there. His car's slipping right now. It's a little loose. You can see him fighting the wheel. Almost brushes the wall.
How fast right there?
145 or 50.
And his hand just went back and forth on that steering wheel as he sought it and tried to hang on, but Gordon got him anyway.
Old-fashioned dirt tracking by Wallace keeps him out of the wall, keeps him up to second spot. Has he got anything left to go after? The Ray Everhand prepared number 24 as Gordon goes for his 6th win of 1995. Steve Burns has more.
Rusty Wallace will be pitting in 4 laps. They're going to take 3 gallons of gas and go. They cannot make it.
There's the real issue in this race. Although you have Gordon up in front, will he have to stop one more time?
I've just got to believe, you know, just from the point factor that if it's at all close and Rusty's that far off, I'd have to think that Gordon can't go the distance too, unless he's just getting great mileage, that they're both going to be coming in.
Mark Martin lies 4th, Musgrave 5th, Ricky Rudd 6th, Jeff Bodine is 7th, Bill Elliott, the pole sitter, in 8th, Jimmy Spencer in 9th, and Jeremy Mayfield has brought Cale Yarborough's number 98. The RCA car up into 10th. Nemechek is in 11th. Rick Hendrick looking on. Looks pretty composed.
You see Jeff Gordon fighting the wheel there a little bit too, coming out of that turn number 2. It looked a little bit loose.
I think 28's trying to loosen him up a little out there.
I'm sure he is. He still is right there.
Remember Charlotte and Macon on TBS.
Ooh, down to the inside. Here he comes. Jarrett for the lead. He's got him. Just squeezed that one off. Boy, he was easy on the trigger, and then he pulled it.
And Earnhardt had to pit early for fuel, and nobody else did. So sometimes these things happen.
Randy Pemberton, give us more on that car 28.
Man, I'll tell you, they're just about laughing in the 28 pit. He keeps, Larry McReynolds said, I keep telling Dale to back it down, but that doesn't seem to be working.
You know, he's telling him to back it down because he wants him to get a little bit better gas mileage. They're going to try to go the distance.
And Gordon's going to ride on his back bumper and pick up a tow, so he uses a little less fuel, too. That's another way you can conserve fuel. Just ride on somebody's back bumper for a while. Let them pull you along.
How much on a 2.5-mile track like this, guys?
It's hard to say, you know, because you are on and off the throttle here 3 times because of the configuration of this track. But every little bit of drafting help that you're getting, you're saving some fuel mileage.
Chad Little with us, racing next Saturday at Talladega. That great 2.6-mile track against his major adversary, Johnny Benson Jr., who's been with us, doing a grand job over in the pit area today. Robert Yates looking on as his number 28 colors. Saw a lot of battle flags coming in this morning earlier. Dick Bergen out the sides of pickup trucks and vans with number 28. They have not forgotten.
No, they sure haven't. Actually, we were surrounded by battle flags. I felt as if we should have had half a dozen in our race, in our rental car as well. It seemed like everybody on the highway was coming to this racetrack this morning.
And early.
Yeah, 6:30 in the morning early.
Lined up and down Interstate 90.
Rusty's setting up for a pass right here, coming out of that dreaded tunnel turn again. You see him get a little jump on Gordon there as they go into turn 3.
Wallace is back, 2nd place. Ready to do a little hunting up here in the country of Pennsylvania. The game, R28. Average speed down. We've had 5 cautions today, 25 laps if you're just joining us. Tore up 3 cars down in turn number 1. We've had a couple of incidents for debris. Now, we saw some debris out on the track. Remember, you saw debris out there, exhaust header broken off. NASCAR says it's so low on the track they'd have to run 4 wide to hit it. So they did not put a caution out.
That looked like Dave Marcus running awfully low on the racetrack, though, Ken. If he can't get the car off the racetrack, that could be your caution.
He was in that 3-car scrape a little earlier out there with Robert Presley involved.
Yep, he's going very, very slowly on the backstretch. There are places where he can get off the racetrack, and Marcus has done that. He's pulled it into the infield to let him stay under green. Very sportsmanlike by Dave Marcus.
Down to the final 10 laps here this afternoon with still 18 cars in the lead lap. And here are the front 3. Handcuffed together as they come down the straightaway. Jarrett, Wallace, Gordon. Then it's a few seconds back to Mark Martin in 4th. Musgrave 5th. Rudd 6th. Jeff Bodine 7th. Bill Elliott 8th. Spencer 9th. Jeremy Mayfield 10th. Nemechek, Trickle, Bobby Hill in the 13th. Ward Burton 14th. Terry Labonte 15th. Rick Mast, Brett Bodine, Sterling Marlin. That's how they're running. The top 18 all in that lead lap. Hello? Here he comes, knocking on the door one more time, Rusty Wallace. They're working lap 192.
This is shaken down to be just a great finish.
It's been a great race all day, and those people we talked about, what, 20 laps ago that had been standing are all still standing.
Last 20 miles. No reason to sit down now. The only question with these Winston Cup races is how, not do they build more seats, but get more roads into these facilities. Because this is what Americans really want to see, the most competitive racing in the world. And we're certainly seeing a great example of it today here at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Top 3 in turn 1. And still, Dale Jarrett with the advantage. Such a grim year for him. Here's Wallace up on the outside. His best finish was that 5th at Daytona. Now he has this lead and does not want to give it up. Believes he has the mileage to go the distance.
Rusty's coming into the pits.
Yep, that's exactly what he was doing, Chad. Waving to the other cars. He said, I'm coming in. Letting Gordon know he's going to pull off the racetrack. Doesn't want Gordon to run into the back bumper. When he does.
You can see Gordon's not coming with him.
Nope. And you can see Earl Barber with the gas can, too.
So the 28 stays up in front. Rusty Wallace is on pit road. Following him down. Quick stop for a splash, and he'll be back out here. Will the other two have to do it? We'll just have to wait and see. Or will somebody run out in the final seconds of the race?
All by himself. Nobody went with him.
28 car strategy. Randy Pemberton can tell you about that.
Oh, they're talking about it right now. I wish I could tell you, but they're not going to tell me. They want to go the distance desperately here today. They don't want to run out of gas, but they need to win a race. They're still talking about it. They're discussing things now. I got a feeling that they're going to pit, but I might be wrong.
Gordon lies second. Let's take a look at the interval for you between the first and second place cars. There's the 28, Dale Jarrett, going for that 4th Winston Cup victory. Right behind him comes Jeff Gordon with 6 laps remaining. 6 to go.
I bet the guys who set up the carburetors are wondering if they could have gone 1 jet size leaner right about now.
Yeah, I mean, those are the questions that you always ask yourself after the race is over, the what-ifs of racing. I'm just really surprised that Rusty is getting that poor of gas mileage compared to the Ford of Robert Yates, the 28 car, or the Chevrolet of some of the other cars running up front.
Okay, Martin 3rd, Rudd 4th, Musgrave 5th, Bodine 6th, Elliott 7th, Spencer 8th, Mayfield to 9th, Nemechek to 10th, Rusty Wallace now in 11th. The splash for fuel puts him back to 11th spot.
Its driver, its engine, the more horsepower the engine puts out, the more fuel it eats. But I don't think anybody's got any more horsepower than that number 24 of Gordon or the 28 of Jarrett for that matter. But there are other things too. The nature of the fuel cell, how efficient the pickup is, the way they've got the lines so that they can pick up the most possible fuel. All of those things relate to the amount of fuel that they can get out of the tank, and therefore the amount of mileage that they can actually get. And they chart this all race long, so when they get down to the end here, they know pretty much how much they can get. No gas gauges on these cars, by the way, and there's no pressure gauges either.
You saw Mark Martin there in that 4th position. Here's Musgrave, Ricky Rudd in the 4th position. Martin in 3rd, Musgrave in 5th, 3, 4, and 5. Getting down into the last 4 laps this time by. Great run for Ricky Rudd today. Now owner-driver Robert Yates.
Doesn't look like Jeff Gordon's been able to close any ground on the 28 car at all.
Thought he got a little back right there off that turn, but I guess you're right. He pulls away. 4 to go. Robert Yates going for win number 20. Oh, Rusty Wallace spins it. He wanted a caution. He got it the wrong way.
I don't think he wanted it that way. You're right. He did get it.
He's off on the grass. There's no caution.
And the roof flaps work.
And they're not going to throw a caution. He's going the right way.
No caution out.
No other cars are involved.
Wallace running back from 11, spinning. Collects it, gets it going again. Jeff Burton's number 8. Down on the inside.
Look at the 24 car pulled right up on the 28 car as the result of that caution, or the result of Rusty spinning. The 28 car might have got out of the gas a little bit.
28 a little loose that time. Robert Yates, the car owner, going for the 21st win as a car owner. And here is Gordon closing all the way in. Boy, this is getting down.
Mark Martin's in the pits for fuel.
Third place car, number 6, Martin, pit road. Jimmy Spencer in 8th place has pitted.
Now, if Martin fuels, Will Musgrave, who is running in 5th spot, also fueled. Engines came from the same shop. Cars, too.
Final moments. Here's Gordon. Like to put himself into another page of the NASCAR record book as a 3-time winner back-to-back. Dale Jarrett, the 1993 Daytona 500 champion, so desperately needing a win. He's had so much misfortune in 1995, and again that car looks a little tricky as it comes out of 3 and down the main straightaway.
It looks to me like Dale Jarrett is able to get into the corners better, but yet Jeff Gordon's coming out a little bit stronger. About the time I say that, the 25 car outdrives him going in, too.
Jarrett with 3 career wins in this series. He's not won with this team, has been terribly frustrated by it. Ernie Irvan had driven the car before him and had just incredible success with it. Davey Allison before that, also with incredible success. Jarrett has not had success. How much a win today would help.
That is indeed the story. If you can win under this kind of pressure. Jimmy Hensel going another lap down in 22.
I can tell you what, right now, there's the one thing on Dale's mind, and that is how wide can I make this race car?
I think there's one thing on Gordon's mind, too, and that is how close can he get to the back bumper of the 28 to try to conserve fuel.
White flag is out, coming down for the final lap. Larry McReynolds, Robert Yates, waiting patiently on pit road. They've been here so many times. There's been so many heartbreaks for this team in the last several years, but right now Dale Jarrett trying to put it back, and we're seeing Morgan Shepherd come on to pit road. Remember, he's running a lap down in 19th. Can't make it all the way. Car began to choke up on him and sputter.
Dale Jarrett has put about 10 car lengths of distance between the two of them just this last half a lap.
They've still got to get all the way back to the line. Doesn't look like that 28 has missed a beat yet. Here's critical turn coming up for Dale Jarrett, where he's had trouble earlier. Anything left in Jeff Gordon's number 24. 6-car interval between first and second spot. Ricky Rudd has come to third. Musgrave is in fourth. Robert Yates looks on with Larry McReynolds as down comes the checkered flag to fall today on car number 28. Dale Jarrett has done it. He's won the Miller 500 at Pocono, Pennsylvania. Jeff Gordon right on the rear bumper for second spot. But he is stymied in his chance and still racing. Here comes the 94 Elliott, streaking to the line in front of car number 7. That is the rig of Jeff Bodine that finishes in 6th today, moving to 5th. Elliott with a great last run. Another race coming to the line. And here's Jeremy Mayfield across the stripe in front of John Nemechek. Joe Nemechek. Brother John had a pretty good day yesterday. That was for 8th position. Let's go to Randy with Robert Yates.
Robert Yates, a sigh of relief. Congratulations to you, Dale Jarrett, this whole team. A great victory.
I'll tell you, Dale needed it. We needed it. Where our luck's been, we should have run out of gas about 3 laps ago, but just worked great.
Congratulations. I got news for you guys. He came over the radio when he crossed that start-finish line. The 28 car is out.
They sure figured it close enough. And the 28 car, the 24 car is also out. I believe it's coming to a stop out there in the back. Well, they try to pump them up to get them around. Now the 24 coming down on the pit road, Jeff Gordon. And we'll take a quick break and come back to meet the winner today at Pocono, Pennsylvania. And getting a little assist from Michael Waltrip, Dale Jarrett.
They've seen quite a wild finish here today in the Miller Genuine Draft 500 live on TBS. Dale Jarrett, some vindication today. His first victory since taking over the seat in car number 28 today. And a lot of honors for that team. Plasticoat, the official spray paint of NASCAR, sponsors the winning finish award. It goes to Larry McReynolds, crew chief on the 28 car. $2,000 to the highest finishing Winston Cup crew chief involved in the Plasticoat Award program at the end of the year. Crew chief with the best average finish wins $25,000. Larry McReynolds, the winner of that today. Steve Burns on pit road at the Purolator Winner's Circle for us.
Dale Jarrett, you've won the biggest stock car race of them all, the Daytona 500, but I bet this one's pretty sweet.
Yeah, it really is. I tell you, had a great car. This Texaco Havoline Ford, great all day long. Well, we were really close there. I started running out going into 3 over there, and I didn't know if it was going to pick up enough, but they had it figured right to the very end, and just credit the crew. They got me in and out of the pits all day long. Great engine. Boy, it's just fantastic. And Kelly, girls, Zachary, sorry you aren't here, but we'll be home soon to celebrate.
Dale, you've endured a lot of criticism. There's been a lot of controversy about this situation. How do you feel? Is this redemption?
Well, yes, sort of. But, you know, I always felt that I could do it, and we always felt as a team we could get it done. But, you know, people are going to think what they want. But this is a very, very good race team. I think I can drive these cars and win. And maybe this will springboard us. You know, we've had some good cars lately, just hadn't got past 3 or 4 laps to show it. But today we were able to do that.
Congratulations. Let's go to Rick Benjamin.
All right, thank you, Steve. Hats off indeed to Dale Jarrett, the winner today. And he did it with the liquid wrench, slickest move of the race. We're going to show you that pass that he made on the 24 car to cement the victory here today. I think there's another part to this slickest move that we'll talk about in a moment, too. But the liquid wrench slickest move is brought to you by Liquid Wrench. And here it is, the pass for the victory. Dale Jarrett to the inside of Gordon out of turn 3 here at Pocono. He made the pass stick and held on to win. I think a slick move, too, was deciding not to pit for fuel with just a handful of laps to go. Rusty Wallace had to. The 28 of the 24 both stayed out there, and it paid off for Dale Jarrett and his team. Jeff Gordon beaten on the racetrack for the first time in a month. Randy Pemberton standing by with Jeff.
Well, a heck of a round. He's standing there. Jeff, a great run. Another great race car. Came up just a tick short today.
Hey, we'll take second place. This one was in God's hands today, and he took real good care of us all day long. I mean, we didn't really have a second-place car, and all of a sudden, them guys just kept working and working. I kept communicating back with them. You know, they pumped me up, got me driving hard there at the end. I made some mistakes today in the pits, and they just fought back, and that's what teamwork's all about. They really are the ones that got me back up there. And then I think I just used my tires up trying to stay with them, or at least trying to beat them. And there at the end, you know, we just didn't have anything left for them.
How much did you draft to save fuel there, or was that the position that you could run at that particular time when you're back there second, third, and so on?
We knew we could go all the way on fuel. I think the Fords, you know, they're making a little more horsepower, and I think they're using a little bit more fuel. But, you know, it was, I mean, I was driving my heart out using every bit of tire I could just to stay with them. So I think Dale and maybe even Rusty was trying to save fuel, and Rusty realized, you know, he couldn't do it. Jarrett did, you know, I mean, he was, I thought, man, we got something for him. We got something for him. All of a sudden, they threw the white flag, and he said, "See ya," boom, and he was gone.
I got news for you. You would have had something for him if it was 1 lap to go, because he ran out.
Oh, I know. See, I thought I might have had something for him. I saw him sputtering coming off turn 4, and I couldn't put my foot in because I would have spun out. So, oh, well, that, you know, I'm real happy for Dale Jarrett. He has had such a tough year. He belongs in that 28 car. He's a heck of a driver, and he deserves this win today. I'm real proud of him, and just want to, you know, congratulate him.
Good run for you, too, as well, Jeff. Let's go to Rick Benjamin in the PCC.
All right, thanks, Randy. Certainly a great run for Jeff Gordon today to second spot. Nothing at all to be ashamed of there. And when we come to Pocono, there is always a lot of excitement, not just the racing event, the Pocono Sweepstakes again this summer. We're going to show you the winner of that sweepstakes. Lisa Hemick picked up a $5,000 check earlier today. She'll also get the Pocono pace truck that was used here today. There's the check from MBNA and US Air and the Speedway going to Lisa Hemick, the winner of the Pocono Sweepstakes here at Pocono International Raceway. Our congratulations to her. There'll undoubtedly be another chance for you to win in the Pocono Sweepstakes next year. Again, very few folks leaving Pocono International Raceway. They've seen a dandy here today. 200 laps of hard-fought competition. First victory of the year for Dale Jarrett. We'll tell you more of that story in a moment.
Jeff Gordon now leads the Winston Cup points by 106, and no one will deny the phenomena of the Hendrick team, Ray Everham, the crew chief, and that young driver. Nor can they deny that on this day, Robert Yates is back, and that Dale Jarrett is certainly everything that they have said about him for so many years. A great driver, gave it a fine ride, used everything he had to pull it off, and win this race today, defeating Gordon right at the finish. What a wonderful race. Let's go down to the STP Pit Center right now. Steve Laletta is the guest of Rick Benjamin.
Back here at the STP Pit Communications Center, we're joined by Steve Lauletta, Manager of Sports Marketing for Miller Genuine Draft. Congratulations on a great event today.
Thanks, Rick. It's always great to come to Pocono for the Miller Genuine Draft 500, and I hope everybody enjoyed the broadcast on TBS.
How important is sports marketing for Miller?
It's real important, and obviously NASCAR is one of the most important things we do. Being affiliated with a team like Rusty Wallace and Penske Racing, tracks like Pocono, it's just a real big part of what we do in the marketing mix.
In terms of the growth of this sport, what have you seen in the last couple of years? How big is NASCAR going to be?
I think it's going to be huge. It already is huge. You see our TV commercials on network broadcasts. It's not just advertising to the race fan anymore. It's mainstream, and you can see by the crowds, it's growing by leaps and bounds.
All right. Thanks a lot, Steve, for being with us today.
Let's take a look at the point standings right now, Rick. As we mentioned, Jeff Gordon out in front by 106. Sterling Marlin in second. The big jump. Musgrave into third spot. Earnhardt falls back into fourth, 164 behind. And back again to Rick Benjamin.
Kenny Wallace has been waiting patiently. Good to see you. You got a hard lick down at turn one. What happened?
Well, we've had a tough day. You know, I was going down into one, just passing Robert Presley, and he disintegrated a right rear tire, and it turned into my quarter panel, and I'm all right.
You've got a few belt burns, I know, from the incident.
Yeah, I got bruised up here. These walls are pretty tough here. You know, Chuck Bound had an incident down there a couple years ago, but I'm happy I'm all right.
You going to Talladega next week?
Go to Talladega next week and on to Indy, and I'm looking forward to the rest of the year.
Wish you well in the second half of the year. Kenny was victimized by a broken spoiler. We had a legitimate, an intact piece to show you the difference. 4 welds broke on this car. That's what set you out of the race the first time, and they fixed it for you.
The biggest thing is that most of the other teams, or we need to learn that we need to weld the whole spoiler.
Yeah.
There's so much downforce, and we just didn't have enough welds on it. As you see, it broke, and it got my attention. But I'm happy to be going home.
Well, we wish you well, Kenny, the rest of the season. Thanks for joining us. Kenny Wallace, one of our TBS colleagues occasionally, Ken Squire.
Yeah, dandy job, too. All right, there's the Pocono Raceway, and here's the full field rundown on today's event. For the third time this year, we've got a Ford in Victory Lane. It happened at Martinsville. Rusty Wallace winning there. Had that win at Talladega with Mark Martin, and now we come back today, and Dale Jarrett gives Robert Yates a very deserved victory for that number 2018. So what'd you think of all this, Chad?
Well, I certainly enjoyed myself. I hope I have a chance to do it again, and I want to congratulate Dale Jarrett and all of Robert Yates' team. They fought hard all day long, and they came out ahead.
Yeah, you're going to have your Winston Cup car ready for Talladega and your Grand National. They're going to be a busy guy next
Double duty next weekend in the heart of Alabama.
All right, Dr. Berggren, you hit it right on the nose. You said 41 laps, and 41 laps he got, and he won this thing.
Yeah, nobody could go 42 either, I don't think. A lot of cars did manage to go the 41 laps, but boy, it proved as well it was the absolute end of it, Ken. They couldn't have gone any further.
So, Jeff Gordon did not make out with a 3-in-a-row run here, but he sure looked good at the finish, but no one looked better than this man right here. Dale Jarrett with another Winston Cup victory to his credit. Mark it down as number 4 in the record book for this generation of Jarretts. Dale Jarrett victorious in the Miller Genuine Draft 500 today. And the phenomena that is Gordon, oh, he's ready for Talladega, and that ought to be something a week from now. So that pretty much closes out our action for today here. It's been wonderful being with you at Pocono. We'll see you at Richmond first week of September, Saturday night. Hope you'll be along to enjoy it with us. For Dick Berggren, Chad Little, Randy Pemberton, Steve Burns, Rick Benjamin, and Johnny Benson, leader in the Grand National points. Thanks all for being here today. Ken Squire, and we hope you enjoyed this coverage of the 22nd Annual Miller Genuine Draft 500 at Pocono, Pennsylvania.